time was for Remy.
Stop talking over the thing. I mean, we can cut it. Let's do it.
Welcome to the Kilter Podcast, Ep.2. That's more than one.
It's actually
This time we have video.
Yeah. Hello.
We're not going to acknowledge the camera, though.
Yeah, we don't look at the camera. We don't look at that guy right there. What's the camera's name? Remy.
He has to have a name.
Yeah, his name's Remy. Look at it.
Why is he he?
She. Her name's Remy.
Why does it have to have a gender?
They. Look, I mean,
my mic's a little quiet.
So with the way modern society operates, let's just, let's refer to the camera as a they from now on, and their name is Remy.
Where did you get Remy from?
It's a rat.
Rat from what?
Ratatouille.
Really?
Yeah, I was thinking of Ratatouille.
I don't remember the Ratatouille lore too well.
Really? The Linguini was the fat guy, and then I think the young guy was also named Linguini, like it was his grandson or something.
Really? Like the rat family?
No, not the rat family.
The chef?
The chefs.
Oh.
Yeah, their names were Linguini, I think.
I have no idea. It's been several years since I've watched Ratatouille.
Yeah, I haven't seen Ratatouille in a long time.
Well, we can talk about movies since we're talking about movies.
Yeah.
If you had to give a top or just some of your favorite movies, because I know it's hard to rank them.
Yeah, I was about to say, you just could put me on the spot like that.
I was going to put just some of your favorites.
I really like My Cousin Vinny. I love that movie.
Never seen that one.
You never seen My Cousin Vinny?
I have not.
It's about, I forget what state it takes place in, but it's in the South. And I don't remember any of their names except Vinny. So that's the important part.
Right. This is probably an important character.
Basically, Vinny's nephew, I'm going to call him Ross, for sake of having something I can refer to.
Right.
Ross and his friend get pulled over or something along the lines. They get arrested, point being, for a crime they didn't commit because they were driving the same color car as somebody who broke into a convenience store and killed the person behind the counter, right?
Okay.
So his family doesn't know what to do. They can't afford a lawyer. They can't
Afford
afford
a lawyer.
They can't afford a lawyer. They're from New Jersey, in case you were curious.
All right. So they can't afford a lawyer.
So they call upon the family lawyer, also known as Cousin Vinny.
So right? He's not a lawyer.
He's not. He went to law school, never graduated.
All right.
He's never been in a court. He spends the entire movie basically lying, saying that he had a permit and everything. Like, he passed the bar exam,
I like it. That sounds interesting. Yeah, I've never seen that movie.
It's actually really interesting. And, like, here's the thing, though. They're from New Jersey, so they're not used to the bumpkin place that is the South. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they go to a restaurant.
Oh, they really are from New Jersey?
They're acting like
okay. I thought you were just saying that when you accidentally did that accent.
No, that's why I did it, because my brain was thinking of how they speak. Yeah, they're from New Jersey, and they're in the South, and they go into a restaurant. There's like a local one here called the Brown Bag. It works like that if you've ever been there.
I haven't, but
nobody has. It's not good. Basically, they walk in, and the guy hands them the menu, right? And you open the menu, and it has 3 options: breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I've been to restaurants like that.
Yeah, it works just
I
like
hate
that.
those places.
It's so funny, though. It's just like, he goes, I think we'll have 2 breakfasts. He's like, what's a grit, huh?
Grits are so terrible. I know we've talked about this before.
I hate,
but
not on the podcast.
Not on the podcast, but like we've talked about it. But I hate grits.
Grits are awful.
They're one of like the top tasteless foods. Like
it's meant to carry.
There's
other
no
bags.
grit flavor.
Yeah, you're not gonna be like, this tastes like grits unless it tastes like nothing.
Right. It's like celery. Yeah. But
I mean, you could lose weight eating celery, can't you?
This isn't a discussion of if we can lose weight while eating it.
Well, you can.
Well, I know it's like you burn more calories with celery from chewing than like.
Because it's like only water, isn't it? Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean it's like green water.
Ah, yes, green water.
To completely change course, one of my favorite movies is Full Metal Jacket.
Why is it? I know why. Full Metal Jacket's amazing, but why?
I don't know. That's like one of the first ones I always think of when someone asks me my favorite movie. I think it's because it was like my first big exposure to like really diving into like mental problems or like into the psyche of someone. We're not gonna stick on it too long because it's not a fun conversation.
I remember a very specific scene from Full Metal Jacket.
But yeah,
another movie I like is actually Forrest Gump. Believe it or not,
I've never watched Forrest Gump all the way through. I've watched like bits and pieces.
Yeah, the movie's better when you're younger because you miss so many of the jokes that make the movie like not as much fun to watch.
I mean, some of the jokes are pretty funny.
No, they're funny, but then you're like, why is Jenny playing the guitar naked on the stage? You know, and stuff like that. And then you get older and you're like, oh.
I don't know what scene you're talking about.
I do. No, wait.
Oh. I know you do. You just said it.
I remember that. And when I was younger, I didn't catch that she was naked. I just thought she had like a swimsuit or something. You know what I mean? Because she's like completely covered by a guitar.
Right.
Yeah.
The convenient camera placement of the guitar.
Pretty much.
Right.
And then there's like there's another scene in the movie when they're both young and like Jenny's at home and she's like she finds Forrest and they start running into a field. It's like, quick, let's not get caught by Dad. You know, and it's like, Jenny, get back here. You know, he's like screaming for her and he's like threatening to beat her. And it's just like, oh.
The only one I like really remember is when like Forrest Gump's trying to stay in school and the mom like sleeps with the principal and the principal comes out of the house like, your mama really cares about your education.
Yeah. See, those are the funny parts of that movie. Like, you still don't get it when you're younger. Like, I love the fact that he was a part of the Watergate and didn't realize.
What?
Yeah, he's in the water, like the hotel.
The Watergate scandal?
Yeah, he was in the hotel and he like looks across he opens his window and looks across. He's like, there's some men over there being weird. You know?
I need to like watch that eventually.
Yeah, oh dude, it's great. It's so funny. He plays ping pong.
Ping pong?
Yeah, he becomes a ping pong champion, if I remember correctly, and he goes to the White House.
Have you ever watched the ping pong movie?
The ping pong movie?
I don't think it's called ping pong, but it's like
the ping pong.
It is literally the whole movie is ping pong, and I remember watching it. It was not noteworthy because I remember hardly anything from it.
Yeah, I
mean, it was just about ping pong.
You know, that's kind of vague. It's like
well, the only scene I remember from it is like the guy. He's like staring at the ping pong ball before he serves it, and he's like very intense.
It's like, this is your.
He's like
ping pong,
and then he serves it. Then that's all I remember.
I remember some very like strange movies that I saw growing up on Disney Channel. Did you watch Disney Channel?
Dude, Lemonade Mouth was a banger.
That's what I'm talking about. I remember the songs.
Dude, the rap. I remember thinking the rap from Lemonade Mouth was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
See, I don't even remember it.
Well, I don't like know all the words, but I just remember thinking it was awesome.
That's fair. Scary Godmother.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it wasn't a good movie, but point being, it came on Disney Channel. It came on a cartoon channel every year on Halloween. It'd be like, Scary Godmother, you know. It's not a good movie.
Like Lemonade Mouth, and then you had like all the Camp Rocks and High School Musicals or whatever.
See, I didn't like those.
I thought Camp Rock was alright, but I never really liked the High School Musicals.
Yeah, but then you remember like Demi Lovato's in Camp Rock.
Well, she was like a normal person back then.
Yeah, that was before the heroin, right?
Yikes.
He went there.
Just commentated on yourself.
I know. I spoke of myself in the third person. Wait, is that third person? Or is that second?
Wesley doesn't think so.
Yeah. He doesn't quite remember.
I think that's second person.
I think it is second. Well, second person is like you, is it not?
What would a second person video game look like? So you like have first person shooters where you're like looking down the sights of the gun. Third person shooters, you're over the shoulder.
Yeah.
What is a second person shooter?
I feel like you just like look from the side. You know? Like when you see a beat 'em up game where you're in the streets.
Like a side scroller?
Yeah, kind of like a side scroller.
So that's a second person shooter?
If it had a gun. Maybe? I don't know. I'm just that'd be my best guess. I'm not exactly a third person, second person, first person shooter expert.
Well, I don't know if anybody's a second person shooter expert.
I mean,
I don't know if they exist.
I feel like serial killers are. They get really good after you be a first person shooter, you try it again. Then you're a second person shooter.
I'm just gonna let you think about that.
No, I know what I said. Anyway, what's another movie like?
On. Of course I like the Star Wars, all the Star Wars stuff.
All of them, huh?
Well, I mean,
That's
I like the Star Wars franchise.
There you go.
The Star Wars I don't like, I don't particularly love any of the new trilogy. I tolerate. Yeah, I just tolerate them.
That's fair. I just like a lot of the funny phrases that come from them. You know, like, it's a trap.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and
Good.
Anakin,
Good meme.
I have the high ground.
That's an amazing meme, for sure.
Oh, I love it. It's so good.
Episode 1, though, I love Darth Maul. I've always loved Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Like, he was such a wasted villain for the first movie. Like, the first movie was so bad, except for Duel of the Fates and Darth Maul.
Yeah. When did Jar Jar Binks come in?
First movie.
That was the first movie, right?
Yeah.
See, I don't dislike him that much. He's not that bad.
I really didn't dislike him as a kid either. Like,
I mean, he's annoying.
I think I kind of liked him as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's fair. I mean, think about when you're a kid. There's like this weird little stretchy thing, and he's like, it's clumsy, and he wins.
Have you seen the Darth Jar Jar theory?
Yeah, that's where I was going with this.
I think that was. I like to think that was the plan.
It had to be the plan, you know, like make Jar Jar Binks the ultimate villain of the prequel series.
It would have been amazing.
Yeah,
but then everybody hated Jar Jar.
But how did he force jump? That is the question.
He like also like broke down his fighting as like the drunken master fighting style or whatever.
Misa, punch you. You know, he just like kind of, you know, it's like what the heck. Jar Jar Binks he's a good character, and nobody liked it for some reason.
What's your favorite Star Wars movie?
See, I watched most of them when I was young, and I honestly don't remember. Like, I know what happened, but I can't tell you what happened when and in what movie.
So, A New Hope was...
Like, I know the start of New Hope.
Yeah.
That's the one I probably know the best.
A New Hope was obviously like the first Death Star. You get introduced to Old Ben, and then Old Ben dies at the end. And they get, like, Luke, Han, and Leia get the medals, and they're like, woo! Yeah. And that's A New Hope. Empire Strikes Back
That's the one on Endor, isn't it?
With,
like, with the Ewoks and all that stuff?
I don't know.
That's the one I liked with Endor was my favorite one, because...
I know Empire Strikes Back is where he trains with Yoda.
It was the 6th one.
Yeah.
6th one was when they're on Endor, because there was 3 ghosts, and one of them was Yoda.
Yeah, all the Force ghosts were 6th movie.
Yeah.
Because that was like during the end. I think the 5th one was where he trained with Yoda when he was alive.
Yeah. What was
on,
that place
Dagobah.
called? Dagobah, yeah. Such a fun word.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love the names of the planets, like Dagobah, Kashyyyk.
I wish they would go back and make a trilogy for the Old Republic. Because the Old Republic lore and, like, all the cutscenes from Star Wars The Old Republic, the MMO RPG, all those cutscenes are so awesome.
Yeah, but I think there's a big problem with that.
What's the problem?
Wasn't that one owned by EA?
I have no idea.
I think it was. I don't know. I just feel like anything to do with EA is kind of rough when it comes to video games. Becoming, you know.
Yeah. I used to play SWTOR for a little bit.
Play what?
Star Wars The Old Republic.
Oh, it's shortened to SWTOR?
SWTOR.
SWTOR. Oh, my bad.
SWTOR.
SWTOR.
That's what they called it, or call it. I think some people still play it.
Yeah, but why does that sounds like something they would say in like StarCraft or something like that, like an alien language would be like SWTOR. You know.
I mean, SWTOR was just World of Warcraft, but Star Wars.
I mean, that's pretty accurate. I could agree with that.
But I never played World of Warcraft.
It's actually not as bad as you think it is.
I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's my type of game.
Yeah, I never got super into it. I got to like level 30 out of 120. So, not that far because there's a lot of post-game content.
Right. Did you have to pay a subscription to play that?
After you get to level 20, you do.
After you get to level 20?
Like if you go to level 20, you just can't level the character anymore, so you're effectively capped. Can't do much.
Can you just like not beat any of the things you come in contact with after that?
Pretty much.
You're just screwed.
Yeah, but the moment you buy the subscription, it saves your XP.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're not like completely screwed if you like got capped and then you played something with your friends and then bought it.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty fun game, believe it or not. You
I
just
don't
have
think
to find
it'd be
what's good for you.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be the time to get into it now.
No, don't do it now. They're actually trying to make it more friendly for new players. I think maybe like a few months back, they half the levels. Like instead of 120, you go to 60.
Didn't they like go back to vanilla for a while?
No.
For like not too long ago.
They made an entirely new game servers. That's literally they started vanilla.
Yeah.
Like they didn't go back to it. Like the other ones still exist.
Right. Okay. So they made new servers that were just vanilla.
Pretty much. Other than that, it's no different. You can still go to Ashes of Outland. You know, all those style of places. fun fact. Most of my World of Warcraft lore comes from Hearthstone, so it's not exactly
Are
perfect.
they the same universe?
Yes and no, based on the same thing. Like
It's like different timelines?
no, not okay. It's hard to explain because the way like Hearthstone kind of follows the same expansion like list as
Mhm.
World of Warcraft did. So it started with Naxxramas, which was like a dungeon in World of Warcraft, and then they went to Blackrock Mountain, another thing, and then eventually along the way they made up some of their own stuff that's thrown in between. So if you say they follow the same thing, it's both right and wrong because there's some stuff that's like thrown off.
Right.
Yeah. It is like, for example, this is nerdy. The first expansion, Naxxramas had this guy called Kel'Thuzad. He's like a Lich King, right?
Right.
Lich King, you know, he's like above all the dead, you know, he's got a bunch of corpses with like bones and like, yeah, you know.
Mhm.
But in the newest expansion, he's alive and like is practicing necromancy as a living person. It's just like there's not flow continuity. It's just kind of they can pick and choose.
So it's like almost like they were parallel universes.
More or less.
Almost. Like not that they are in lore, but like that's kind of how it reads.
From my perspective, yes.
Right.
Obviously, I'm not like
expert.
I'm not super good at the
Not
game
the
either.
expert.
I just play for the
Right.
expert, like that little kid that's like
the
Yeah.
old meme.
yeah.
The expert.
The
Squeaky
expert.
chair.
It's back.
It never leaves.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yes.
Try not to rock back and forth as we're talking. Too much.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
I don't think I really have much room to lean back right now.
I mean, yeah, you'll probably knock over all your manga.
Oh, what a nice
What a nice is that what you
transition.
said?
I was gonna say transition, but I just stopped in mid word.
That's fair. That's fair. So manga. Interesting about that.
You
What
don't.
language
You
is that
don't
one
even.
in?
It's translated in English.
Oh, I was trying to give you a segue.
You don't even read manga.
I used to.
Manga's great.
Yeah, it's like I both like it and dislike it.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah, it's like
You have to find one that you really like.
yeah, because I mean I both like it because like you know I mean it'll expand the series a little further than the animations have gone or anime or whatever you want to call it.
The animation.
The animations. You know what I mean? It's just like sometimes it's a little further ahead, but I also have to read.
It's true. It's a struggle.
I can't just sit there and just take it in. You know what I
Right.
mean?
That's true. There's like you can relax while you're watching anime.
Yeah,
or
it's
you,
a lot
you
easier.
can't. You have to like sit down and read a manga.
Yeah, you have to like you have
You have
to
to
actually
choose to do it.
read. Yeah. And a lot of people nowadays, like our age, don't like to read anymore. I mean, it's kind of true.
I mean, I can't read novels. I can, but like, I don't like reading novels because I suck at it and I'm
Yeah.
super slow. But I can read manga. It was Tokyo Ghoul that got me into manga
Yeah.
because the anime it sucks. Oh, I mean,
The
it's-
anime sucks. That's all you had to say.
It's okay, but like compared to the manga, it's like not
Yeah.
close. But now I'm
Yeah.
reading Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer.
Yeah,
I
because
think you've told me about that. But
yeah, I watched the anime on it a couple months back, and it was really good. So I said
What's that about
gonna-
again?
it's about people slaying demons.
Go on. For those at home.
It's like kind of has the stereotypical samurai type theme, but it's like the end of the Edo period. So there's like trains. It's in like
Oh, okay, yeah. It's
1800s
yeah.
type, but like in rural
Like
Japan.
like post-industrial, but like not modern.
Post-industrial in America, but Japan is not fully industrialized.
Oh yeah,
at
because
the
they're,
time.
they're like an
Yeah.
island country at this point.
Yeah, so they have like some trains in the big cities,
I mean, they're
but,
still an island.
but
country.
where most of the characters are, most of the time, it's like samurai type themed.
I mean,
like-
that's pretty cool though. Samurais are pretty
Right.
interesting, personally. You know,
Well, yeah,
Imagine,
sure.
You know, you have an honor code. You got to follow. You're like live by the sword, die by the sword. You know.
every boy's dream. But yeah, the main character, he's not a samurai, he's a demon slayer, but he has a katana.
He's
And he-
pretty much like he's a samurai with a cool name.
Right.
Yeah,
The demon slayers are like an underground organization that is like the government doesn't acknowledge them. So they're like when they go to big cities that have trains and stuff, they get like almost arrested because they have swords.
You can't have a sword in a city. I mean, like
Not-
in 1800s.
not in Demon Slayer.
It's like
I mean, probably not at that time in Japan either.
I feel like you could walk around with a sword in the 1800s, and people would probably be like, "Oh, he's part of the cavalry" or something like that.
The cavalry?
Yeah, like when I think of that, I think of the Rough Riders, which is like 100 years in the future, but that's not the point. But
The Winged Hussars.
yes, no, that is so far back.
Dude, I love that story.
The Winged Hussars?
The Winged Hussars.
Yeah, why?
Like the Poland boys that save, was it Vienna?
I think it was.
The Battle of Vienna. And they
Oh, I was thinking something different. But yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
the Winged Hussars, like, that's it's a cool group of people.
Yeah, let's just run in with swords and guns, on horseback.
And they had like wings
Yeah, it was for intimidation purposes.
because they made loud noises.
Yeah, and it worked.
It did.
Yeah, it's kind of
They won.
impressive. Yeah, I thought that was my drink. I was gonna go, take a drink out of my phone.
Gonna drink your phone.
LED.
Mm.
That's not what I was trying to say, but LED. But yeah, like, what about manga? What's the word? Intrigues you the most? That's not what I wanted to say, but it's a synonym. Interest. That's the word.
Interest. I mean, I just like it.
Well, I mean, like, is there
I mean,
is it put you in a certain culture, or like you enjoy something about like the way it's drawn? What?
no, it's just
Heavy implication.
a little bit of everything. I mean, I like, obviously I've watched anime for a long time because as a kid I watched Naruto and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just like the art style, that kind of introduced me to that, and just like seeking different stories or like watching an anime and liking it and be like, oh, I want more of this.
Yeah. I mean, that's
So
fair.
I'll read it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, you have a lot of people that say the mangas are better than the animes, which is like just like the people who read the books to movies, and then they're like, you're at the movie theater, and they're like, the book was better.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, I'm going to go read it.
it's not like my brain is capable of, making it better,
Right.
because your brain has an
These
unlimited budget.
simpletons just watching this movie when I read it.
It's the Chad.
The Chads at the movie theater.
I read the book first.
But yeah.
And then, like, if you watch the movie first before you read the book, though, it kind of ruins it, because when you, like, read about a scene, you can just see that in the movie, and then you don't have your own imaginative take on it.
I
No?
mean, that's kind of like the defense people that read books give, though. It's like, you can use your imagination.
Yeah, but, like, didn't SpongeBob teach you anything? Imagination, It's the best.
But we're talking about movies.
Yeah, but the book was better.
I've never read books.
That's not true.
I mean, I've read books, but like,
I was like,
I've
you've read-
never been an avid reader,
I read when they made me, except for middle school, actually.
except for middle school.
Yeah,
What did
like-
you read in middle school?
The Hunter's Apprentice. That's the
Oh
only
yeah,
book
I
series
remember that.
I
I remember you
genuinely liked.
reading that.
Yeah,
I remember you carrying those around.
yeah. Oh, I like that. That was probably loud. But
No, it probably wasn't.
no, I meant the noise I made. But
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, the the
Rangers.
Ranger's Apprentice. I said
Yeah.
Hunter's Apprentice.
Same thing.
Yeah. Like, you got the guy named Will, and I forget the older guy's name. I'm gonna say Hans. It was something like that.
I mean, I can't help you out on
Yeah.
this one. I've never read
Yes,
it.
you have.
No, I haven't.
You read one of them because I
Did I?
showed it to you, and you were like, "I'll give it a read," and then you were like, read one, and then didn't say anything.
Well, I mean, like with books, like even if I really like the book, like it's really hard for me to sit down and read it.
Yeah, yeah. I
Like-
mean, it's fair.
I'm just really bad at reading books.
I mean, I remember all the assigned reading we had to do over the summer. I'd be like, "Have you read this yet?" And we'd be like 3 months into the semester, and you're like, "Nope."
I mean, that and AR reading in middle school, when we had to do that, I was so terrible at it.
Oh, dude, it was so funny though.
I remember in 6th grade, I never knew what AR reading was. They didn't make us do that in Crestmont.
Really?
Yeah.
They had me do that in elementary school. It was
Never-
not fun.
They never had us do that. So when I got to middle school, like the teachers would tell me that we have AR reading, and like they would say it like I knew what it was.
You're like,
Like,
"Oh,
or
of
they
course."
would be saying it to the class, like, we're gonna do this AR reading, and everybody would be like, yeah, and I'd be like, what?
Okay, I'm not stupid. It stands for assigned reading, right? Or is it accelerated reading?
I thought it was accelerated reader.
So I'm wrong either way. Is that what you're telling me?
I think it was either accelerated reader or accelerated reading.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Whatever it is, as long as.
But okay, back to when I was in 6th grade, the first AR assignment we had, I didn't do it at all because of the way the teacher said it. Made me think that it was like we didn't have to.
Yeah.
She was like, one thing that I don't even remember the phrasing
We
that
can
I
say
got.
her name if that'll make it more clear.
No, it doesn't. I'm just trying to remember the way she phrased it that made 6th grade me think that it was just like, it's like a
Yeah.
it's like a little extra thing if I get
extra-
inspired to do some reading.
Extra credit, right? Yeah.
It was my
easy.
first C on a report card because of that. It was like
Really?
400 points.
Oh yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
Miss Ford really liked making those worth too many points.
Because we had to read 4 books.
4.
I think so.
Really?
Well, it was 400 points,
So yeah, I mean.
I would think. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
completely crushed my grade that semester.
You were like, "What happened?"
And I remember like right before that 9 weeks ended, me trying to like do one, and like I just sat down at the computer with a book. I'm like, and she like, I didn't know that you couldn't use the book.
Oh, I
for
remember
some-
this actually.
Yeah.
This is great.
I just sat down at the computer and like had the book in my hand. It was like flipping through it, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm taking my AR test. What do you mean?"
that class was great. So much stupid stuff happened there. Like it was you, me, Rax.
Relax.
No, it's Max. We can just say it's
Yeah.
We'll talk about him a lot.
Okay, and then one other thing that happened in that class was we had a substitute,
Mhm.
and I don't remember who it was, but like he snatched my paper away, like jokingly, and I like snatched it back, and the sub, when I did that, he called me out, and I was so upset about this, and he made me put my nose, he drew a circle on a board and said like, "Put your nose here," and that's
Yeah.
what, and I just had to stand there with my nose on a whiteboard.
Yeah, that was Mr. Dyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him. Mr. Dyer, nobody cares about this guy. Whoa, I didn't mean it like that. I meant no student cares about, like, because he was really, like, funny but mean.
Right.
Like, he was really rude. to
The
us.
students didn't love him.
Yeah, he was not a fun guy. Like, sometimes, if I remember correctly, right, you remember, give me a fake name. Charles, right? Good. It also starts with the same letter. Charles, right? He was a percussionist. He used to hang out around us a lot in like 7th grade, right? Yeah. Like how you immediately knew. Charles was he had slight anger issues. Charles had a lot going on at home.
Yeah.
But poor Charles.
Moment of silence for Charles.
Pour one out for Charles.
He's still alive.
Yeah, Charles is alive, but I haven't seen him in a long time.
I haven't talked to him since middle school.
I think he went to Northside actually.
No. Wonder where he's going to college.
Yeah, I don't really care. Anyway, point being, Charles sounds way too fancy for this kid to have that name.
Does
Yeah. Well, Charles
what
was
about-
sitting in his chair, right, and Mr. Dyer, being the incredibly funny man he is, decided to be like, "Hey, kid, is there a reason your chair is like slightly off? Because like instead of all these chairs were in a line facing the projector screen, right?
I think I remember this.
Oh, this was 8th grade actually, because it was that same year that we did the
Yeah.
talent show thing. We'll talk about.
Yeah,
some
that's
other
a good
time.
story.
That's a great one. Charles,
we
though,
need to play. We need to find the video.
we need
and play it.
just play it in the podcast. But Charles had his chair slightly out of ajar in the line like this, in case you're watching.
Right.
And like Dyer walks up and he's like, "Kid, your chair's kind of out of line there."
Is that how he talked?
Kind of. Charles, I almost said his actual name. Charles gives him the angriest look I've ever seen, like a 12 or 13-year-old kid ever give somebody. And he's just like, "What if I don't want to move my chair?" Or
I
something.
remember him ranting about this in band. I was like, "How dare someone ask me why my chair is off kilter?"
How dare he, Mr. Dyer? He got sent to the office. You remember that? Or written up because he was being disrespectful.
Okay, that reminded me of a great story. I mean, it's not a great story.
Wait.
Okay.
I mean, we're pretty much done with that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was just making sure we didn't, like, get
Yeah.
off continuity.
Okay, so speaking of getting sent to the office, one of the only times I've ever been sent to the office,
I think I remember this.
I don't think you know this story.
I think you told me this at least.
Well, I think I've been sent to the office like 1 or 2 times.
Yeah,
It was in elementary school.
We getting really close to the mic now.
I think I've just been inching closer to the mic.
I was just letting you know.
Yeah. Okay. I've been sent to the office like 2 times in elementary school. Mainly, I don't know if I want to tell the story, but I'm going to tell the story.
You're going to do it anyway. Change the names.
Yeah, I am. Okay.
I have
So
to.
we're going to call this kid King Henry.
Is the other kid drink chocolate milk?
So in first grade in particular, I was not a great kid. And me and King Henry had a terrible rivalry.
1 kid or 2 kids?
1 kid.
1 kid. See, it sounds like you got a kid named King and one named Henry.
You just want me to call him Henry?
Sure, Henry makes more sense.
Okay, Henry. Okay, me and Henry had a bitter rivalry. And it was terrible. Okay, so it started out name calling as first graders do. You know, vicious name calling at first grade. I'm not gonna be your friend anymore.
Oh, you busted out that card.
I don't even think we were friends.
Probably not. If you busted out that you're not my friend card.
Okay, one time, the only time I've gotten written up, it was because we were yelling at each other in the lunch line or the PE line, I think it was.
The PE line?
Yeah, waiting to go to outside to PE. And he was like, I bet you wouldn't even hit me. And he was wrong.
He was very wrong.
Because then I uppercut him in the stomach. And
you
then,
uppercut him as a little kid in the stomach?
Yeah.
You were
That's okay. This is the way I remember it.
I was about to say, you remember uppercutting a child.
Yeah. This is the way my first grade mind remembers it. It's just bam, Muhammad Ali uppercut to the stomach.
I feel like that didn't happen.
Okay, I hit him, is the point. And in the way I remember it, he starts crying and falls to his knees.
Was he just is it like a movie or like a TV show?
It was slow motion.
He's like,
it was the way I remember it was slow motion, boom, uppercut, and then he's crying, and then he falls to his knees crying. And then and then I remember it in my mind going, crap, now I'm going to get in trouble.
That sounds like a movie where it's you may be wondering how I got in this position.
Yeah. You may be wondering how I got here. So then I started crying. And then
Wait, you started crying to get out of it?
No, because I knew I was going to be in trouble.
Oh, I thought it was I won't get in trouble if I cry.
No.
Yeah.
But I started crying, and then the teacher comes over and it's what happened? Henry.
Oh. Henry.
Danny, edit that out. Let me make a bigger wave.
There you go.
Okay. Danny, edit that out.
Oh, it was that kid. I know.
Yeah. And then it was, so Henry is crying. And then he's
the face he made was great.
Okay, so Henry is crying. Yeah. And he's hey, he hit me, of course, because I did. Yeah. And then I was well, he told me to.
Well, he told me to.
So we had to go to the office. And then another thing I remember about first grade is we had the green plate, yellow plate, red plate.
Oh, they called them plates?
Oh, lights. We called them lights,
yeah,
but
I was about to say,
they were
lights.
plates.
Yeah.
And we had our paper clips. And I remember every time I'd go to yellow, I would just clip it to yellow, but it would be in between green and yellow. So it would if the teacher just glanced at it at the end of the day when she was making our things, she would write me on green still, and I'd be yeah, I played the system there.
I remember when we had the green, yellow, red light system, that if she ever changed it, I would cry intentionally, not because I was scared of getting in trouble. I would cry to make her change it.
Did it work?
Yes.
Every time?
I wasn't a kid who got in trouble much.
So when it did happen, it worked.
Oh, every time. Oh, dude, I made that teacher feel so bad. I'm not proud of it. Are you sure? I guess not. What about now? Okay.
We don't have a third mic.
Doo-wop? What are we talking about? Oh, the making teachers feel bad.
Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, oh, dude, I did so much stuff like that. I was a terrible kid.
Yeah, in our 4th grade, like, I think our teacher, like, hated our whole class.
Can you blame him?
We, like, because I remember specifically, if we had a good week, we were supposed to, like, do a fun day on Friday, and that happened once the whole year.
Oh. Oh.
Our class was terrible. Like, actually horrible.
I think my teacher in 5th grade, I remember her writing something on the board. It was like 5, 6 letters, something like that.
Right.
She wrote like sweep or like Thursday, or there was some amount of letters on the board. Point being,
Okay.
and each letter was worth 5 minutes on the playground. And like a lot of times by the end of the week, we had like day, and there's like 3 letters written there. It's like she'd erased like 3/4 of them. She was like, "All right, y'all get 15 minutes on the playground," and we're like 12.
Right. Yay.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, the swings though. You're 12. Swings are still fun.
Dude, people would run to the swings.
Dude, I still run to the swings.
I remember being so sad that I couldn't do a pull-up in elementary school. I was still chunky then.
Oh, dude, I got surprised like 2 months ago. I don't exercise very much.
Right.
Like being real, I could do like 4.
Nice.
Like I just jumped up, like let myself kind of dead hang, and then just went like 4 times on a wooden beam in a park because I got bored. And
I also remember not being able to do the monkey bars, but I can do them now.
I probably can.
I can do the
was
monkey
scared
bars.
of the monkey bars.
I would like grab onto them, and then I just like.
Yeah, dude, those things were scary.
I remember like several kids breaking their arm on the monkey bars.
Oh, we didn't have kids at my school break their arms on the monkey bars. We had them break them on something we called the red rings of death.
Are those like spinning ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, so many kids would like swing between those that only 5th graders were allowed on them because
Really?
everybody would break their arms that was under 12.
I believe it.
Their bones weren't strong enough yet. That's probably why. But
Bones weren't strong.
they didn't have the
Hey,
bone
pop
density.
quiz. What bones are babies born without?
None.
They don't have kneecaps.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
I thought you started with like 260 bones and it went down to like 230.
It's 206 is the final number.
Yeah, I thought it like you
But yeah.
started with a bunch and then they
Yeah.
all fused together.
That's true, but they don't have kneecaps. It's like they don't get kneecaps until they're like 6 months to a year, I think.
Really? I feel like kneecaps are kind of a... Is that why they can't walk?
I think that's part of it.
I mean, that would make sense.
But
Right?
yeah. I mean,
I guess your legs... Do you just have like... No, that can't be true because their legs are like this. Like they're kind of bent already.
That doesn't mean they have kneecaps.
Well, I guess kneecaps just covered. That's not what makes it bend. I mean, you see what I'm thinking though, right? Like, it's a fair analysis.
Right. Do you want me to Google it?
No. Why would I... You're gonna Google do babies have kneecaps during the podcast?
I'll do it.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Do you want me to just like talk in the meantime?
Yeah.
Yeah, should I just make up a story and go?
I mean, don't make it up. Tell a real story.
That's a good question. What's a real story? Let's see. I used to have I almost said his name. There was a kid named Michael on the playground who basically bullied me for the first year of kindergarten because he pretended to be my friend, and every time I didn't do something he said, he would threaten to not be my friend.
So babies have kneecaps made of cartilage,
Oh, so they do have kneecaps, you
But-
liar.
but they're not bone.
I mean, it's still a kneecap. You're way
But
too
they
close.
don't have the bone. The bone
The bone.
of the kneecap.
Yeah. So, what guy figured this out? Go back to that. Hold on. What man was examining baby kneecaps? I feel like he needs to go to jail or something. Like, let's see. Babies do have kneecaps. Cartilage. The cartilage will harden into bony kneecaps. Interesting. If your child is having joint pain, well, he's not having bone pain.
I'm not reading this.
Yeah, that's way too long.
Anyway.
Yeah. Besides, it's beside the fact. Yeah, Michael was mean. I still see Michael. Like
Michael?
It's not his real name. Michael. He was a very Michael Dunn, if you will. He was a very fat kid.
Oh.
And he would like constantly be. I didn't realize, I'm young. When people say they're not going to be your friend, it's like devastating.
Oh, yeah.
When you're like 5, he would do this to me every day. And I didn't.
I remember kids like that.
Yeah, he was my friend, and then like 3/4 of the way through the year, I was like, it's not worth it, and I just stopped talking to Michael. I still remember you, Michael.
Poor Michael.
Yeah, I remember your birthday is on Halloween. How's it feel, Michael?
I just bumped the mic.
It's okay.
Elementary school was very odd looking back on it.
Yeah.
The best thing about elementary school was when our school cafeteria, like if we were the last lunch, they would just like let us have free reign after we went through.
I thought we turned off all the notifications.
That wasn't Discord.
I know, but still, it's not the point.
But yeah, and like before Obama, we had the best rolls.
I believe we should make all the best rolls out of school.
Wheat rolls.
We need to make this roll 2% wheat. We need wheat milk.
Wheat milk.
Wheat milk.
Mm.
I like this milk. Hold the wheat.
No pulp in this milk, please.
Oh, I hate that. That sounds disgusting.
Pulp milk.
Is milk pulp just expired milk?
I was about to say that.
Yeah. You can make cheese out of that.
Out of milk pulp?
I feel like you can. I think the more expired the milk is, the better cheese it makes.
Don't you make mozzarella out of like
whole milk?
Yeah.
Yeah. You use it with whole milk. It's an acid. I can't remember the name, and then use it with rennet.
With what?
Rennet. RENNET.
Reddit?
No, not Reddit. But yeah, I had a day where I just like got really bored, and I was like, I want to make some cheese.
Did you make it?
No, but I keep meaning to order the stuff, but I just haven't.
So you're gonna make cheese.
I plan to eventually make mozzarella cheese out of boredom.
Out of pure boredom.
Yeah, it's like, well, I mean,
fresh boredom in this mac and cheese.
Yeah.
What is it? Mac and cheese.
And I can put it in mac and cheese now because mac and cheese is delicious.
Mac and cheese is amazing.
The only thing I hate about mac and cheese is the noise.
Like the
the ASMR. You know what I mean? I hate that noise. It doesn't bother me as much as it does that it bothers my mom and I have to listen to her complain about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's like, oh, I hate that noise. I'm like, cool.
How's she like again?
Oh, I hate that noise. You know.
All right.
You asked me to do it again.
Well, you did it even more emphatically the second time.
Look, just because you wanted to use the word emphatically, you didn't have to get me to say it a second time.
That was the appropriate word to use in that situation.
Yeah.
No one in my household really complains about the sounds of mac and cheese.
Well, there's a lot of interesting things that my mom finds agitating, but let's not.
You.
Yes. No. Let's not get into that for her sake. Because I feel like that's disrespectful, and she's my mother, and I love her. So
And she'll probably see this eventually.
And on the off chance she finds this one day, I love you, Mom.
How touching.
I know, right? I'm such a mama's boy. So much.
Do you have a parent that you like better?
Dad. No. No offense, Mom.
I think she's offended.
Probably. One day I'll just get a call that says, how come on the Off Kilter Podcast Ep.2 you said your father was your favorite? I am deeply offended, son. If she called me son, that's how I know she's mad.
No, you know she's mad when they say your whole name.
No, not for my family. If you say like mother, father, son, any of those,
Really?
that's like
Come here, son.
It's like complete disrespect. It's like, oh,
My mom does the whole name.
Oh,
Or just first name, middle name.
yeah. Wesley Alvarez.
I mean,
Didn't you already say it anyway?
no, I mean, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be like, Wesley Austin.
But like, literally, if I went up to my dad and called him father, he would like think I was mad at him. Like, that is just disrespectful at my house.
Yeah, I mean, I just call my dad Dad.
Yeah, me too. I call him dad. And then when I get home, like, if I want to greet my mother and she's like across the house, I'll put on like this Elvis-y kind of deep voice and go, Mama. You know, just like really loud. What? I mean, we're fun. We're a weird family. Like,
I mean, you're definitely a
Mama.
weird fammy.
Yeah.
I almost never call my brother, though. I just call him his name.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be like, "Hello, brother."
Well, it's like, hey, bro.
Yeah, I don't say bro either. I'm just like,
I say bro sometimes.
really?
Sometimes.
I feel like just saying bro is kind of weird. Like, what's up, bro? You know,
I mean, I don't say it like that.
come at me, bro. You know, it's just like when I hear bro, that's what I think of.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, you know, I think of like California, ride the waves, rides a skateboard, kind of a douche. You know,
Dude, speaking of skateboards,
interesting.
I used to play this PS2 game called Rocket Power all the time.
Rocket power.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was there rockets on the skateboard?
No. But like when you would do good at skating and like you got the power up, it would be like rocket power.
Rocket power.
I really don't remember that much about it other than it was like cartoon style.
That's such a weird, specific thing to remember.
That was like one of the games that I put the most hours into.
You didn't put
on
a
the
ton of
PS.
hours into Animal Jam like most kids at my school.
What is Animal Jam?
You don't know what Animal Jam is?
I have no idea what
No.
Animal Jam is.
That was one of those crappy browser games. Just like Shopping Cart Hero. What about that?
I didn't play that one either.
No. What about Hedgehog Launch? You haven't lived.
I'd never played any of those games.
That was like,
Rocket Power is a PS2 game.
yeah. But I mean, a lot of kids at my school, like when we stayed at Extended Day.
I never stayed at Extended Day.
That's why you missed out on the Extended Day fun times. So my school, I still don't know why. Like to this day, I don't understand why an elementary school had a computer lab.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in hindsight, why did we have that? All we would do is go in there and play
I don't
games
think
on it.
Crestmont had a computer lab.
It probably didn't. Let's be real.
Yeah,
here. That's
It might now.
Yeah, but
It didn't then.
it definitely did not. Ugh.
We had a computer cart,
Well, evidently you had
As we-
computers.
as we discussed in the last episode.
But dude, that's like every time they'd be like, "Where do you want to go? You guys want to go to the playground, the computer lab?" There'd be like all the nerds would
All
be
the
like,
boys.
"The computer lab, please." No, the
The
girls
boy-
wanted to go too
Well,
because they were like, "I
the
want to
metaf-
play
the-
Animal Jam."
the metaphorical the boys.
Oh yeah, the boys. Me and the boys playing Animal Jam.
The browser games that I played was like Bloxazors
Yeah, Bloxors. Yeah,
or Bloxors.
we played that in middle school together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if I really played any browser games in elementary school.
We pretty much just went to unblocked games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How did they never block unblocked games?
I
It's
feel
like
like
so obvious.
it's pretty.
Unblocked games.
Yeah, I would play Swords and Sandals.
I remember you and Max playing that all the time.
It's such a terrible game, but it's so much fun.
Yeah, I played Bloxazors.
Well, you're adding like 2 syllables to that. name.
Bloxazors. Is it Bloxors?
Bloxors. B-O-L-O.
I'm saying Bloxazors.
I know why.
I don't know.
It has 6 letters in it.
Bloxors.
B-L-O-X-O-R-Z.
Bloxors.
7 letters. My bad. Those of you at home, look that up on the internet.
Bloxazors.
No, look up
Bloxors?
Bloxors.
It's on-
Why do you keep saying Bloxazors?
Bloxazors.
It's like, what? Oh, dude, I gotta cut
It's
open
like the
this bag.
It's like the Berenstein Bears.
Berenstain, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate
It's
that.
just how my memory remembers it.
Yeah, the Mandela effect.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that's such a weird
Bloxazors.
thing.
It was definitely the Berenstain Bears. I
Yeah.
mean Berenstein Bears.
It was definitely.
Yeah.
Sinbad was in that movie.
I don't know what that.
I don't
was.
know that one either. I always hear people say there's a Mandela effect about Sinbad
Sinbad.
being in some kind of Aladdin movie, and it's like a super popular effect.
I'd
Yeah.
never really watched the Aladdin movies.
Really? You never seen Aladdin?
Back to Rocket Power.
Wait, you never seen Aladdin? Hold on. You don't know? You know
I've
who
never
Prince
seen
Jasmine
Aladdin.
is?
Huh?
You know who Prince Jasmine is?
Is
What
he
about-
the dude?
I said Prince. I meant Princess.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked at you like it's a woman, but then I thought about what I said. No, but Robin Williams was in that movie. He was the genie. Remember?
Okay. I still haven't seen it.
Come on. Yes, your childhood continues to confuse
Okay,
me.
my childhood was amazing because I had the VHS to Zoids. Do you know what
Zoids?
Zoids is?
No, I just watched.
You see that awesome white tiger thing?
So it's a Power Rangers ripoff.
No,
Yes.
it's Zoids.
Zoids.
I could say that's what got me into anime because I think it is an anime.
Really?
Yeah, I had it on VHS.
So it's just like a pre-thing to Gundam.
It's like a ripoff of Gundam, but
Okay.
it's like animal themed. Like that's the main characters. You can't see it. You can't see it in the shot.
I don't think
But-
they might be able to.
They might.
Yeah.
If you can see the white tiger thing, That is a Zoid.
Do you want me to like go pick it up?
No.
I mean, I could put it in the shot.
No, but
That'll
it'd
probably
be
take too
much.
long. Yeah.
Because you'd have to like crawl back there.
Yeah. Wesley has a very, very cramped room.
Yeah, I'm running out of space to live.
Yeah. Well, it's because you put like 3 times as much stuff in here than there should be.
Yeah, well, because I keep collecting more equipment.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I got guitar noises, beep beep. You know.
I can't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
But anyway, that show was amazing as a kid. I only had like 1 or 2 VHSs, and I would just rewatch those over and over. But good show. It's terrible. I tried to rewatch it like not too long ago, and I was like, wow, this kind of sucks.
Yeah. There was I used to have this one Power Rangers like movie / episode on VHS. My mom would tell me I'd just rewatch it. Like it would end, and I'd hit rewind on the tape and then watch it again, like in the same sitting, because I liked it that much.
Okay, so back to my job at the gym for a second. We this relates to what you're talking about. So we have this autistic kid that will come in, and he has an iPad that he carries around with him, and he has like Netflix on it.
What?
And he'll rewatch the same scene of the same movie the whole time he's there.
That's creepy.
Like one day it was Pinocchio, and he was just like, he would click on the scene he wanted to watch it. He would go away for a second, and then he'd come back and hit the same scene again, just like. And if he started a new movie, he would go to a very specific scene and then keep like rewatching it.
Is that?
It was super weird. I don't know why that is.
It's like it's not super. It's like it's weird, but that's also
it's intriguing.
Yeah, it's like, what scene in Pinocchio did he watch?
It was like, I don't know Pinocchio that well, but he like tried to swallow something, and like his face turned like purple or whatever, and he blinked and his eyes came out. It was actually kind of terrifying.
So it wasn't Geppetto, it was Pinocchio that was doing that.
Yeah.
Geppetto was the man who made Pinocchio.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was Pinocchio doing it.
Okay. Yeah.
But the other scenes he would watch on the other movies weren't that creepy. I think it was the noise that was what was capturing his attention.
Really? Like the sound of somebody choking?
Well, no, it wasn't a choking noise. It was just like very odd noises. I don't know how to describe it.
No, that's fair. It's okay. It's like, you know.
Yeah, because he wasn't like struggling or choking. It was like he just like had the thing in his mouth and like struggled to swallow it, and his face like turned purple. I don't know.
It sounds like he's choking.
He was, but like it wasn't like making
like,
choking noises.
Yeah,
he wasn't like, I'm dying.
Is that what people say when they're dying?
I am choking.
I am choking. You know, we have some people that I would say are autistic. They're like adults, and they come in the store, right?
Yeah.
And that's okay. Nothing wrong with, disabilities and whatever you've been given,
Yeah.
Well, that sounds bad.
Well, a ton of people are super functional and they're autistic. So most of the autistic people I know are smarter than I am.
Yeah. High functioning.
Right.
This man was low functioning. I'm pretty sure. Nothing,
Right.
Yeah.
That's fine, but
it's fine. It's just like, it makes me wonder if he could hear, like genuinely, or if he was like so focused on trying to get the sandwiches that he was just kind of ignoring us.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, okay. This was rush hour too, so there's like 6 people behind him.
Oh.
Yeah, it would have been perfectly fine otherwise,
Right.
And he was like, okay, I have 4 sandwiches, right? He wasn't stuttering. He was just trying to read, I was like, okay, that's fine. Tell me the bread, and I can get them all laid out for you. We can move from there, right? He goes, all right, the first one is ham with cheese, toasted with lettuce, tomato, onion. I'm having put the ham on yet, or the cheese.
He's just like listed.
He listed the whole thing, right? And I go to put it in the toaster, right? I was like, all right, what's the second one? He goes, the first one is ham with cheese, toasted, lettuce, tomato. If I asked him a question, he would give me the whole list again. Like, give me the third sandwich.
He'd be like, the first one is.
Like, I would legitimately be like, the third sandwich, right? It's like turkey. I'd be like, what kind of cheese is on it? He's like, the first one is ham with cheese. And this is rushed. Like, there's like 6 people behind him.
People waiting.
Yeah, and so my coworker, he's a very brusque individual, if you will.
That's a very nice word.
It's a vocabulary word for you there. He's an aggressive man. He has like, for those of you who know. Hold on.
Take your time.
Yeah. I gotta reroute my brain here.
Okay, side story. Have you seen like the viral clip of the guy asking the Subway employee to toast his sandwich more? He's like, more toasted, and he like completely burns it.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you want it more? Yeah, dude, there are people that'll be like, triple toasted, and then you know what I do?
What?
I put it in there for double, and he's like, dude, you did it perfect. I'm like, yeah, I could have done anything. So I'll blatantly, like, purposely do what they, like, not what they told me to do, and they'll be like, dude, that is exactly how I wanted it. But anyway.
Brusque individual.
Brusque, his name was T.R. Let's go with that.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Yes, his name was Teddy Roosevelt. We'll call him Teddy from now on.
All right.
Teddy is a man with, let's say, he has 3 felonies that are about to be charged on him, like
legitimately.
And he has like a Satanist symbol on his arm.
Okay.
He's actually a really good guy. Like, this was all pre Christian, like, conversion. Like,
okay.
Yeah, like he's. Yeah, you know, he tells me about all of his stories about how he was a drug addict and all that, and then how he found the Lord in Subway.
In Subway?
Like, literally in the bathroom, like 20 feet from where I'm standing when he was telling me this.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, okay,
cool.
that's cool.
Cool.
You know, he's like, I was a psychopath, you know, stuff like that. It's like, okay, a little too much, but good to know.
Thanks
you
for
know?
that info.
Yeah. But point being, he's had a lot in the past, so he's kind of
rough background.
He's kind of street.
He's rough around the edges.
Yeah, rough around the edges. Yeah, let's go with that. Really good guy, in case you hear this. Point being, Teddy. He looked at me. He goes, I would have beat this guy up by now outside of work. He goes, tell him to stop. And then he just like walks away. Right?
He leaves you alone.
He left me alone. It goes, next customer, please. And then so he got like 5 people out of the store by the time I finished this guy's 4 sandwiches.
That's funny.
I was like, Teddy, you can't be that mean.
Dang it, Teddy Roosevelt.
I was like, Theodore Franklin Roosevelt.
Is that his middle name?
No. Is it?
I don't think so.
I feel like it's not.
Yeah.
Anyway, either way, like, he was so bad. Like, can you imagine if that guy heard us? He obviously didn't.
Right.
But he couldn't hear me overall. Like, you know, I'm on sandwich number 4, and he's like, I want ham with cheese, lettuce, tomatoes.
What's the 4th sandwich? Okay, the first one.
I'm like, there were several times throughout his list that I would zone out and just make eye contact with the person behind him and just look disappointed. And she would look at me and go, he leaves the store and she's like, bless your soul.
Really? Did they say that?
It was somebody else. That lady had left by that point.
Right.
So it was Teddy. Worked through 5 people. So this was like number 6 who was
you
there
said
for
his name.
Huh? Did I?
I think you said.
What is
Teddy?
Crap. Teddy.
Danny, edit that out.
It's so hard when you get caught up. Like,
yeah, you get like you're in the story and you just like are going.
Either way, Teddy.
Right.
Teddy. Teddy had seriously gone through that many people by that point, and they were just like, "You poor boy. I'm so sorry."
Dang, that's an interesting one.
Yeah,
I didn't.
That guy hasn't come back. I want to say thankfully, but
I don't want to sound too mean about that.
Like, no,
right.
There's nothing wrong with that guy. Just you know, it's
right. It's just frustrating.
It's frustrating. He was super nice.
Right. It was just, I don't know. I've never heard of that kind of story before. That's very.
I still know that it was a ham with cheese and lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise. This was 3 months ago. And there are so many great people that come in there that they stick in my brain.
Brain.
He's one of them.
Brain.
And there's this random guy. I'll say his name. I've literally seen him one time or like twice. His name's Richard. Because he made me shake his hand during the pandemic. He's like, shake my hand. I was like,
dude, it's like that guy on the plane. I want to shake your hand.
Yeah, it was like that. He's like, look, Richard.
Don't you love it when like you like all the weird handshakes you'd get at church? Like all the dead fish handshakes.
Yeah, and then you get that one guy that's like trying to prove himself.
Yeah, you're trying to have a battle of manliness.
Yeah, it's like I'm a man.
In this handshake,
yeah.
this will determine the alpha in this conversation.
Right? Yeah. Richard, right?
Yeah.
He comes in. I didn't say. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No, you can put it there. I'm gonna go this way.
All right.
He's like,
we're very cramped.
yeah, it's, like I said, there's triple the amount of things that should be in here.
Yeah.
Either way, Richard, no forewarning. Look, I get it. As a Christian man myself, you're supposed to witness non-ceasingly, right? Like, do not stop. Spread the image. Spread the Lord, right?
the what?
Spread the image is what I almost
It's
said.
like you're gonna say spread the women.
No, I would never say that.
Danny, but
what?
I said Danny.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Danny clip that.
Danny clip that. Is that that's a new one?
Yeah. But point being, he comes in there. He's like, "All right." It kind of reminds me of like a Joel Osteen kind of speaker. You know what I mean?
The only quote from Joel Osteen, and I was like, "This is my Bible."
Well, that's the voice he had. It's not like the way
Right.
he spoke. He was just kind of had that kind of
prosperity gospel.
Yeah. But what he was saying was not prosperity gospel stuff. It was pretty bad. I think I told you this before because I told you the night happened.
Right.
Right. Richard was like, "Hey, I want a turkey sandwich, foot long, on wheat. And I'm here to tell you something important, boy. Are you a Christian?" And I went, "Yes, sir, I am. You know, I go to church and yada, yada." Just, make it casual conversation. You see, usually, when you hear somebody that says yes, and that
you're like, cool.
You're like, cool.
Awesome.
Batting for the same team.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Hey, that's awesome, brother.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I love God. It's like fist bump.
Nice.
Love the Lord. This guy, he's like, that's nice. He's like, I went to church growing up, probably like you did.
He
He like blatantly tried to like.
He blatantly said, "No, you're not.
Pretty much." He's like, "You're young.
You're 18.
Yeah,
you don't
He
understand."
didn't know my age. He's just like,
Right.
yeah. He goes, "Yeah, I remember growing up. I went to church all the time. I really didn't care what they were saying." I was like, "Wow."
You should have like stopped him right there and was like, "Well, you're a lot different than I am. Have a nice sandwich, sir."
No, this took. Okay, let's give a little baseline here. This
I have a story very similar to this that I've told you before, and I'll tell after.
Okay, this took process.
Process.
This happened over 30 minutes, right?
Right.
So everything I'm saying was stretched out over so long that it just kind of became annoying. But I felt bad because like he's gotten this far. Like, might as well let him finish. There's nobody else in the story.
Right. Just let him finish.
Just let him finish. He clearly needs to say this to somebody. I'll just let him go. And he's like, I ended up. This all happened at one point in my life.
He's just telling you his life story.
Oh, he was going.
He's just going.
He was going. He's like, I was so happy. I moved out. I was living with my girlfriend. I got a nice job. And then all that was pulled out from under me in one day. My landlord kicked me out. My girlfriend left me, and I got fired all at once. And I was like, wow.
I was like, wow, that sucks.
Yeah, I was like, what do you want me to? I was like, dang, that's pretty bad there, sir. And he's like, yeah. So I remember what my mother told me growing up. She said, son, when you don't know what to do, pray. It's just like I mean, it's good advice, right?
Well, the camera can't see you.
Yeah, you're pretty good. Yeah, I mean, you look quite dashing today, if I will. Yeah. Yeah. I gave you a little a little end scene, for you. Yeah. Yeah. You know why I did that.
Yeah.
You can see it pretty evidently too.
Anyway, where were you in the story? He was saying his life got pulled out from under him.
Yeah, and he's like, his mother was like, pray when you need to. So I did what she said. I started praying in that moment. I moved back home, started going to church with my family for 3 years. Didn't believe a lick of it. I felt nothing.
You're like, wow, that's awesome, sir.
I was like, dude, you just like built up this whole thing. Just
I thought that was the turnaround.
Yeah, he's like, it didn't work. I was like, dude, you could have like went so many directions with that. I know he's in his head. He's like, and that's how it happened.
Right.
And then after that, after those 3 years, I realized I was living a lie. Now I'm a deacon at my church. You should come by sometime. My name's Richard. And then, like, partway through the story when he's like, and then for those 3 years, I didn't believe it. I was like, do you want mayonnaise?
Toasted?
Yeah. So it's like, it's in between. It's like, what kind of cheese is that? Do you want mayonnaise on your roast beef, sir?
That's great.
I literally sat there for like 15 of those minutes just waiting for him to say, does he want mayonnaise? He's like, I was like, cool. You know, I was like, hey, I really got to get you through here, buddy. He's like, anyway, I was walking around and eventually I picked it up and went, mayonnaise. And
Do you want mayonnaise, sir?
I was like, dude, this is a nice story, but mayonnaise. And he's like, oh, yeah. Why didn't you say something earlier?
I have a story very similar to that.
Yeah.
And, like, okay, to set the scene for my story, because I can probably say my buddy's name. Okay, so, it was in Millport, and I'm a musician with long hair.
Ah.
Okay, obviously. My hair is very voluptuous.
Don't. Why?
It often, especially with the older crowd, they'll be like, oh, you look like you play that guitar.
Yeah.
And I mean, I do, but
You do play that guitar.
so me and my buddy were in Millport for a 4th of July festival, I think is when
Was
this
I
happened.
for
I don't think you were there.
I was there for
or
one of
maybe
them.
you were there. Maybe it wasn't that
Was
time
it-
then.
was
Maybe
this-
maybe we weren't there to play. Maybe it was when I was with Dalton for like a fundraiser thing.
It was when you were there to play that I was with you. Because
Yeah.
you got up on the stage and
Yeah.
everybody kept asking.
Okay,
if
I think this was for a fundraiser when I was there.
Okay.
But same place. It's like Park at Millport for this fundraiser, big event. And me and my buddy are walking to the booth where we're going to like set up for the fundraiser. And he gets a little separated from me. And this older gentleman comes up to me and starts talking, you know. And most of the time when older people talk to me, they'll be like, you got some big hair. And I'll be like,
Can I touch
yep.
it?
And we'll like talk about that, and he's like said something along the lines, I bet you play that guitar, bet you like play music or something like that, because I look like some of those old 70s guys. And I'm like, yes sir, I do. And we get in this conversation about music, and he's like, yeah, that's all well and good. It's like, but you know what happened to all them them rockers? I was like, well, yeah, I do. It's like a lot of them died. And he's like, yep. He's like, what do you think's gonna happen if you stay down this, like, and he like basically accused me of like I'm gonna be a drug addict and die and go to hell.
Yeah, that's kind of what that sounded
And
like.
and it was like I was just dumbfounded. I was like, I love Jesus. I'm like, we're on the same team, bro.
It's like, dude, I batted right before you.
I was like, I just happen to play the guitar, and
I play shortstop,
and
man.
you're gonna walk up to me and just like straight up tell me, it's like, you're doomed. And like this was also like a 20-minute conversation, and my buddy has not noticed that I'm trapped in this conversation. And like eventually he sees me, and finally it's like, hey, we need you over here. And I like, it was such of like, why didn't you get me out of that?
Okay, to be fair, if that had been me, you know you would have watched and thought it was funny and not said anything.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. 'Cause I mean, you're that kind of friend. You know what I mean?
It's
You'd
true.
be like, this is funny. This is gonna be a good story.
It's true. But yeah, that was an interesting experience.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you play the guitar, all of them players go to hell. But if
Well, he didn't say it like that.
If you a left-handed
He was
guitar,
a little bit more roundabout way of saying it. He was like, you know what happened to all them musicians from back in the day? It's like they got addicted to them drugs and
died on a toilet in Nevada.
lived that evil lifestyle.
You know who else played the guitar? Satan.
Satan.
The devil did go down to Georgia, and he had him a guitar.
He had a fiddle.
He told Johnny he could play it too. He said, "Boy, let me tell you what."
Dun dun dun. That's so funny that we have like such similar stories of old men trying to convert us, even though we're already Christians.
Yeah, he's like, "You better put that." I've had it. It's always old men named Richard though. This has happened twice. The second guy was also named Richard.
You've had 2 guys?
Yes, it's so funny.
Dang, Richard.
I've noticed, like, there's for some reason, it's like certain types of people always get the same kind of sandwich. Like,
There's stereotypical sandwiches.
I was gonna say racial profiling, but that works too.
Stereotypical sandwiches.
Yeah. All right. So white girl, like, early 20s, right?
Wheat.
Turkey on white bread.
On white bread?
Yeah, turkey, white bread, and they're like American cheese, and they're like, I don't want it toasted, and they just want lettuce.
Okay.
That's all they get.
If you didn't know me, what sandwich am I getting?
You strike me as a like, it'd be one of 2 things.
Okay.
You'd probably be like, give me that Italian BMT, or give me a steak, one or the other.
You know, I'd like the spicy Italian.
Yeah, well, BMT just has ham. You seem like a ham kind of guy.
What does BMT and Italian BMT stand for?
I don't know, Wesley. Why don't you tell me what you thought it stood for last time?
Bacon, medicine, tomato. Isn't it?
Bacon, medicine, tomato. It stands for big, meaty, tasty, by the way.
That's so stupid. I hate that name.
I hate it, too. It's like, what kind of sandwich can I get? The bacon. I mean, the big, meaty, tasty sandwich.
At Jimmy John's, they have the ultimate porker.
Bork?
Ultimate porker.
Oh, that's what you said. You actually said pork.
I said pork.
I thought you had the ultimate bork.
Ultimate porker.
This sandwich comes with a lot of bork.
Jimmy John's is better than Subway. I'm sorry.
I don't know if I believe that. Jimmy John's is literally the same formula for every sandwich minus one thing, like plus or minus one. They're like, you want the Italian nightclub? Let's put pepperoni, salami, and like cheese. And then the next one's like pepperoni and ham.
I think Jimmy John's bread tastes better.
Their bread is just mayonnaise. I'm like deeply offended by the fact that you just said their bread tastes better.
Their bread is not mayonnaise.
It is practical. Dude, I asked the guy who worked at mayonnaise, the one on.
Works at mayonnaise.
I asked the guy who worked at the mayonnaise.
I just asked a guy. He works at mayonnaise.
I asked a guy who worked at Jimmy John's, the one near Hillcrest, like that side of town.
Oh yeah, man. You think you know your sandwiches? I know a guy who works at mayonnaise. Don't try to fool me.
Don't try to fool me with your mayonnaise. Well, point being, I asked him, and they have like these jars that are like 3 pounds, 2-3 pounds, right? And I was like, how many of those you go through in a day? He goes, oh, just like 2, 3. I was like, you're telling me you go through 6 to 9 pounds of mayonnaise a day?
They do use a lot of mayonnaise. My brother used to work at Jimmy John's.
So much mayonnaise. Dude, mayonnaise is just like wet. That's all it is.
I love mayonnaise.
No, you're not.
I like
Don't
mayonnaise.
you lie to me.
I do like mayonnaise.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't like any mayonnaise.
I like mayonnaise. Ketchup and mayonnaise, like basically making special sauce on hamburgers.
Okay, that's different. That's different. Like, mayonnaise alone is what bothers me. If it's with something else, it's like, okay. You know?
I put mayonnaise in my black-eyed peas or my purple hulled peas.
I don't think I can talk to you anymore.
Have you tried them?
I don't like mayonnaise. Or black-eyed peas.
Oh. Well, I know a guy who works at mayonnaise.
Do you know a guy who works at black-eyed peas? Maybe they can meet up.
But yeah, it's good. It makes it like creamy. It's not like a mayonnaise flavor. It's like put mayonnaise, put some hot sauce.
It's just like a creamy taste.
Right. It makes it creamy.
That's different. I thought you were like, I want my beans to taste like mayonnaise.
I know a guy who puts ketchup on his steak.
That doesn't surprise me. I've seen that.
But like that seems like such an insult.
We have people who come to Subway and they're like, y'all got ketchup? I'm like, what?
Ketchup on your Subway sandwich?
He's got like a sandwich that's got chicken, like chicken strips, you know, just like your classic chicken strips. And he's like, it's got bacon, it's got ranch on it. And I'm like, you got the ketchup there, boy? I'm just like,
do you have ketchup?
No.
You don't have ketchup
Why
at
would
Subway?
we have ketchup?
I mean, I like.
You gotta put it on your lettuce.
I understand that, like, it's weird, but like, I figured like you would have it.
I see. I thought we would too. Actually, like I was, we have something.
You're like looking around.
I was like, well, this is when I first started working here, right?
All right.
And there was just this unidentified sauce. It's red. I'm like,
Because like, do I take this risk?
Well, when I first started working there, we had 3 sauces that were unlabeled. It's like, ask us what this sauce is, and they're like, what's that? I'm like, good question.
Mystery sauce.
Yeah, they're like, my coworker. I'd be like, hey, he didn't work there anymore. Hey, Dakota, what's this one? He's like, that is garlic aioli. I'm
That's just fancy mayonnaise.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Garlic aioli is fancy.
Garlic aioli is clear.
It's fancy mayonnaise.
No. And then the one that I thought was ketchup was actually hot sauce.
Oh.
Like,
did you put hot sauce on it?
I did. It was Frank's Red Hot.
Ooh, that's good stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what our buffalo chicken's made out of.
That's what like a lot of people they like take Frank's and put some butter in it, melt some butter. That's what a lot of buffalo sauces.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have the butter. We just literally dump a bag of hot sauce on this piece of chicken.
Close enough.
Point being, this guy was like, I want some ketchup and ranch on my chicken and my bacon.
That sounds awful.
He had like lettuce and like black olives on that. And I was like,
I don't like olives.
Olives
are gross.
Like, nobody even gets the sandwich for the olive. They stick in a toothpick on the top. Like, nobody buys the sandwich for that.
Yeah, I don't know.
What was the other thing? White people put ranch on everything. Like, I've heard that statement before, but it is so true.
I know a lot of people who eat pizza and will dip it in ranch.
That's actually good, though.
It's good, but, like, I don't do it because I find it offensive.
See, it depends on what kind of ranch you're talking about. Because there's a difference between ranch and ranch dressing.
Is there a difference?
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a difference.
At least I've been told that, and I believed it.
If there is, I didn't know about it.
To the internet. Is there a difference? I don't want to look like an idiot. We need to know real quick. Do babies have kneecaps? I forgot about that. Is ranch... Okay, point being, every single sandwich in that store, I've seen some random white person get ranch on their sandwich. It'll be like, I want a steak. They call it... People make up so many terms, right? It's called a steak and cheese, right?
Right.
They'd be like, give me a Philly cheesesteak. I'm like, it's not the same thing. Oh, it is different.
Is there a difference between ranch dip and dressing?
There's actually a little difference between ranch drip and ranch dressing. Ranching tends to be thin. They can't hear you, Wesley. Tends to be thinner and pourable as they're used on salads, while ranch dip is thicker. So they are different.
Okay, slight difference.
Yeah. Point being, it's okay.
Glad we figured that out.
Stereotypically, they put it on everything. White people, it's on everything. It's like steak. It's got like steak, onions,
right,
bell peppers, and he's like, "All right, now for the sauce, ranch." It's like, you just ruined a sandwich, sir.
Why did you do that?
Yeah, it'll be like pepperoni, salami, pizza sauce, and he's like, "Put me some of that pepper jack cheese on it, boy."
Pepper jack cheese is good.
People can't tell the difference.
I can tell the difference.
No, I've blatantly put the wrong cheese on it before, and people will be like, "That's the best sandwich I've ever had."
How often do people tell you it's the best sandwich I've ever had?
Enough to where you think I was lying, because I am.
I need to go get a sandwich made from you. I've never ate at Subway or anything. Well, the Subway you work at's the one.
It's right by the school.
Yeah. So I need to go there one day when you're working, and I'm not working.
I am mostly kidding when they say it's the best sandwich I've ever had, but we have done blind taste tests, like, in the back of the store before. Like, we put a blindfold on Dakota and tried to see if he could tell the difference. Dakota's a very fat man. He likes his food. So, I mean, it's like asking a man who's, like, a professor
He's
of
cultured.
Food. Yeah. He was, like, 300 pounds and, like, 6 foot. He was a big man.
Large.
Yeah. He's a rotund individual.
Right. Big boned.
No. He's a truck driver now.
Oh.
Like, for real.
Nice.
He's like our age. Yeah.
What like...
You have to get a CDL.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, what specifications? Not
That's all you need.
Do you need to be a truck driver?
Just CDL.
What's a CDL?
It's a type of license that lets you
Cables.
drive. Certified
driver.
Certified driving license.
Nice.
Point being, you have to have a CDL, which is a type of license that lets you do. Like, we have a Type D license. You know that?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, Type D lets you drive a 4-door or holds up to like 5 people.
Right.
Type C is like a little more. B, A, so on. Right.
I want an A+ license.
There's no A+.
Dang it.
There is a Type V.
S tier license.
S tier license. I think V is boats.
Why wouldn't it be? Well,
Yeah, because B is already taken.
dang it.
And M is motorcycle.
W.A.S.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's interesting. You know what I mean?
That's
But
interesting.
yeah, I see. Remember that book you borrowed from me on like how to get your driver's license? That was in there.
Yeah, the Alabama.
Yeah, that was part of that book. Yeah,
I don't know how much I read that book.
I don't think you did.
Do I still have it?
I think you do. Dude, I literally do not need that now. This was 5 years ago almost. 4. For some reason.
How old are we?
Well, we would have started driving like 4 years ago.
Yeah. I remember like practicing with my dad's Firebird and it and being terrible at it because it didn't have power steering.
Oh,
Or it
yeah,
still doesn't.
I feel like that's kind of important. Well, anyway, what?
Dakota, I have some
CDL.
funny stories about me and driver's ed.
Yeah.
How much time are you good on time? Like, do you need to go?
No, I don't need to go.
Okay,
Dude,
cool.
My mom was like, "Do you want to be
'Cause I
back
feel
by
like
10 o'clock?"
Because I feel like we still have some good.
Oh no, we're good.
We're rolling.
We're rolling.
Okay,
There's no point
good.
in stopping.
All right, cool.
I don't know. I just felt that in case we decide we don't want that part where we're just like, "Hey,
I mean,
yeah,
whatever. If they're listening this deep into the podcast, then they're fine with it. Okay.
That's true."
I have some funny stories about driver's ed. Okay, so one of the things in driver's ed.
I got one too. Just
Okay.
remind me to tell it.
So I wanted a position where I can act like I'm driving. Okay, so we were practicing backing up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we were in an empty parking lot, and he's like, "Okay, I want you to put your hand on the back of the seat and turn around." And I go, and I'm like, "I don't see how this is helping."
You were 15, weren't you?
Yeah.
Wesley,
I
you're
was
smarter
like-
than that.
And then he's like, the other seats.
That sounds exactly like your dad, though. Just like, the other
No,
seats.
that wasn't my dad.
Oh,
That was
the instructor.
yeah, that was the instructor. I had an actual driver's ed instructor so he could get a cut on my insurance.
Yeah, that's what we did Well, I got trained by my dad, and my dad, being the incredibly intelligent man he is, I'm joking, Dad. You're awesome. But this was his idea of what to do for my first lesson in driving, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, do you know where Cottondale is?
Roughly.
You know what a 6-way intersection is?
Yeah.
Yeah. He made me drive on an interstate,
Right.
merging in and out
Oh,
First time.
first lesson.
all the way to Cottondale.
All right.
Yeah.
Seems like a good.
Took me
good
to a
pl-
6-way intersection.
Good plan.
Yeah. Yeah. It went perfect. You know,
I mean, you're still here.
I'm
You're
alive. Yeah, but you see, why not take my mom? Okay, to be fair, I had driven in a parking lot like once before this with my mom, and my dad's like, "Let it go." Yeah. He's like, "You know how to brake work. You know how the gas work. You can go." You know.
You know how brake. It sounds like a caveman. You know how brake work. Gas work.
My dad's not dumb. I don't know why I
Right.
did that voice. It was like, "Me know how brake work."
I was Jar Jar Binks.
You sound like brake.
Okay, and then when I got to finally take my driver's test, my truck, for those listening, it's like it looks pretty nice on the outside. Like people will compliment and be like, "Hey, that looks cool," but it's like on the inside, it's like the modern day Christian. It looks great, but the inside is completely barely functioning.
I'm pretty sure the first time I got in your truck, I kicked a wire and cut off the air conditioning.
Well, yeah. Well, the air conditioning will go out, and you have to like kick under the console to like get it going back up.
I
And there's like
remember this.
wires hanging down under the steering wheel that I don't know what they go to. And it's a crank. It's a 2005 Chevy Colorado, and so it's crank for the windows, like up and down. And one of the handles on the passenger side, the handle to crank the window, is not attached. But you can stick it on there, and it'll still crank. And the air conditioning at the time I took my driver's test only worked on full blast.
I remember this.
Okay.
This is great.
Also, the horn sounds like an anemic duck.
Yeah, it's like. It still does too.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm at my driver's test, and so the windows are down because me and my dad were like sitting in the parking lot just waiting for the driving test instructor or whatever. So she gets there, and my dad gets out of the truck so I can go take the driver's test. And I mean, first she has to check my horns, like. And she gets in the truck, okay, and we drive it, and we're taking off, okay. And she's like, is there any way to roll up the windows? And I'm like, yeah, just grab that handle that's in the cup holder and stick it on there. And she's like, I can't find it. I was like, check under your feet. It's probably in the floorboard. So she finds that, sticks it on there, and then we're driving a little bit more, and she's like, and of course it's hot. It's like in the summer or something.
Let's turn on the air conditioner.
And she's like, do we got any air conditioner? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I do like a 6-point turn on my 3-point turn. But
of course,
But I pass.
Did I tell you my driver that I had to retake the permit test like twice?
I think I had to retake it once.
No, I retook it once. That's what it is, and I failed the first time for stupid reasons. Okay, test anxiety. It's a thing, right? Like looking back, it was stupid.
Right.
But in the moment, you're like, oh, this is the smartest idea in this situation, right? The question, I remember this because my mom laughed at me. And so did several other people in my life when I told them this, right? The question was, what does a white cane with a red tip mean when somebody's walking down the road?
That they're blind?
Yeah. Obviously, right?
Right.
So they're not deaf?
You put they're deaf?
Dude, I was 15 and I was nervous. I was like, they're deaf.
Dude, you were 15.
No, I was 15, not 15.
You were 15.
I just want to put it out there. I'm not an idiot.
He's super smart. Like
I just got
nervous.
nervous.
Like, you were in our graduating class. You were like top 25.
I think I was 17th.
Yeah, top.
Point
top
being, I should not have gotten that wrong. He's deaf.
Why do you need a cane if you're deaf?
Well, my mom was comforting at first, but after I took it the second time and passed, then she laughed at me.
As she should.
Yeah, she's like, you thought he was deaf? Oh, dude, there's so much stupid stuff like that. It's so funny.
And
what? What else is it?
Good thing we're amazing drivers now.
Oh yeah, dude. So my manager at work, she's 50, right?
Okay.
She's a 50-year-old manager at Subway. Just putting that out there.
All right.
Super nice lady. Very Indian, like immigrated.
I feel like that's stereotypical of Subway. Like
It is.
all the managers are Indian.
She was talking to me. She goes, she said this today, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, "Oh, do I say it like
I was
she
wondering.
would?"
I was like, is he gonna do the accent?
I considered doing it. I have a lot of text messages from her that I could read out loud. That Anna.
Is that her name?
That is her name. It's fine. She won't care. She'd probably be like, yes, But I'd be like, Anna, you're great, but you text and speak the exact same way. But point being, she said to me today, I'll say it, what she meant. She was like, if the Subway does not have an Indian manager, it goes down within a few years. And I was like, oh. I was like,
It's part of the scheme.
That was like, wow, okay.
It's necessary.
She meant it, I don't think that's what she meant, but that's definitely what she said.
Right.
But what was it? What did she say to me? I forgot where I was going with the story, to be honest with you.
That's okay.
No. She was talking to me because whenever I go to work, I park in the back of like an outdoor mall complex.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's what you call it.
Yeah, like the strip mall,
Strip
like
malls,
outside.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I always back in because I leave late at night and I don't feel like looking behind me in the dark. So
Right.
I'll back up and do it. And I remember
quick
this.
getaway.
Yeah, right. Because I remember this because she came outside and she was like, "How did you do that? You are 2 inches away from almost hitting that." And I was like, I know how to drive.
How did you do that?
It was more like, how did you do that? It's like, again, it was funny because I just step out of my car. It wasn't like, oh hey Garrett or anything. It was just I close the door. You hear a,
How did you do that?
like a door close. How did you do that? Yeah.
I never feel comfortable backing in, even though like I know I probably would be fine. I just like very rarely do it.
Well, I just don't do it when people are watching, except for that one time where I was very uncomfortable. Do you remember that?
No.
We had just played for the elementary school in our senior year in jazz band.
Oh yeah.
And I slightly messed it up, and I had to like go for it and then back in. It's like raining super hard.
Yeah.
And I'm just like
our band. He was helping like us load up music stands after our band performed.
Yeah, because I drive a truck also. Like
Right.
we're
Both-
redneck boys.
I mean,
Yeah. Bigger the truck, bigger the personality.
the bigger the heart.
Yeah. Anyway, right. So I'm having to light back in, and I look like I lean over and look back. Well, I got away from the mic. I lean over and look back, and I just like meet the gaze of everybody. And
Everybody's just like standing under
they're
this.
waiting for me, and
yeah.
I'm just like, I don't like this.
I remember that.
Your heart gets a little.
Because I remember like the collective of us, like someone got a truck, and like me and Garrett and like everybody that had a truck being like, who's gonna be the one to go?
And I was just like, I guess it's me. Because what'd you call the redhead last time?
I don't know. Let's just call him Chance.
Chance. No, we know a guy named Chance.
Well, that's not him.
Oh yeah, well Chance.
People have names.
Chance had a truck. He drove it down there, and he was just like, he just kind of disappeared conveniently. He's like, no, I'm not here. I play the bass trombone.
That's how a bass trombone
makes
sounds for people who don't know.
It's like trombone but bass.
Bass trombone's pretty rad if you
It is.
like jazz.
So is a Barry sax.
Barry sax, bass trombone, all good stuff.
Yeah.
We played the trumpet.
Everybody who had a truck just gone, except for me and Wesley over here, and we just like
I was
just
like,
kind of sitting there like
I don't want to do
I
it.
don't know what to do. So I am being the man I am.
The hero.
I took charge and had to be the one who got watched
The
by
one who awkwardly backed in.
by 30 people who can drive,
It's
and
just
they're
like-
just like they're watching me. I know they're watching. I did mess it up though.
No,
Bad enough.
no catastrophic failure.
Yeah,
that.
it was just like a slight little oops, and then I kind
It
of
was just like people watching. Like,
I was like,
well, since we talked about high school, we can talk about college a little bit. We're about to
yeah,
start college, but have very different majors.
very different majors in fact. Go on, Mr. You.
My major is musical audio engineering,
Yeah, that's as you can tell.
which ties
He
in.
set all this stuff up.
Right,
not
this
me.
is all of this is mine.
He probably could do this like 3 times the speed I could. I could figure it out, but he knows how to do it. You know what I mean?
Well, right.
Yeah.
And then your major,
I'm a psychology major. I don't.
but we are both minoring in foreign languages.
yeah,
I'm minoring in Japanese.
because he's a weeb,
This is true. I am a weeb.
and I'm minoring in Russian because I'm a commie.
True.
Yeah, I'm.
Yeah, I've already been studying Japanese for like almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
I take like Japanese lessons with this British dude.
Now, describe him in more detail because I find this pretty
Okay,
interesting.
so he's a British dude living in Spain, speaks Russian, Spanish, Japanese, English, and has one hand.
On the bright side, he could speak about as many languages as he can count on his fingers. Didn't you say Russian, Spanish, Japanese, English? I mean, that's probably
He's learning Chinese. I
I'd
think.
see, he's got as many languages as he does fingers.
But yeah,
Yeah, and then like, I don't have as much experience in one language as Wesley does, because like I originally didn't start with Russian. This was just kind of like
you wanted something you could minor in, right?
Yeah, like-
you wanted a language to
'cause
minor in.
I originally was studying Hebrew because I found it interesting. There's obviously
Right.
biblical
The
ties
big,
to
thing
biblical ties to it.
for
and
sure,
sorry.
for sure.
I don't know if that was sarcasm or not. I can't.
It
tell.
wasn't.
Okay, it's not. You were like for sure.
It's not. No, it was. It was.
Well,
super-
point being, it was interesting, and
Right.
then it's like, I'm not gonna be able to use this. Like, other than like,
if you went to Israel,
Yeah.
yeah.
even then, like Russian is spoken a lot over there too.
Well, yeah.
It's like the third language.
Russian is like definitely a lot more useful.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be the lingua franca. Remember?
Who's Franklin?
No, lingua franca. I
Lingua
always
franca.
say that wrong.
Yeah.
The
The
language of business.
Yeah.
In the next like 20 years, something. Like that.
that's the prediction at least.
Prediction. I mean,
I doubt that.
I know,
feel like
but
it
I
is.
also just want to learn it. It's
Oh
interesting.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like
That Japanese, like, what drew me to it was just like how it's the polar opposite of English. Like, it's like you have the like chart of how closely related languages are. You have like obviously the Romanic languages, and your Germanic languages are super close to English.
yeah,
And then you have your Arabic and Hebrew, and then it's like the Oriental, Chinese, Korean.
the Oriental language.
Well, the Asian languages, the Orient, same thing.
It just sounded funny. I know what
But
you
yeah, I mean Korean. I mean Korean's cool. If I was gonna learn another Asian language, it would be Korean. I wouldn't want to learn Chinese, because Chinese is tonal,
Yeah.
and that's like super difficult. But not only that, it's like, no offense, China, but like I don't really want to go to China.
Oh, I don't Korea would be interesting.
Yeah, I
Not
would-
because of the K-pop, just because Seoul.
Yeah.
Like isn't it like the technological capital of the world right now, other than the United Emirates?
I don't know, but I have my coworker is Korean. I was talking to him about like what are the spots to go to in Korea, and he was like, just going to the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, is really cool.
Really?
And stuff like that. So I would definitely go to Korea before I go to China. No offense, China, but like
Yeah.
Japan, I definitely want to go to Japan a few times at least.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm learning the language. I want to go there like once I'm like, the level of Japanese I have right now is like, I would say survival level. Like I could survive in Japan, but I want to be like conversational to upper level conversational when I go there. I want to be like talking to random people and then being like, "Oh, your Japanese is so good."
You speak good Japanese.
Like you could say like "sumimasen" and they'll be like, "Oh,
beautiful."
If you're a foreigner, they'll be like, "Your Japanese is so good."
It's like that.
That's
Gordon
just how
Ramsay-
Japanese people are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that Gordon Ramsay picture. It's like foreigners when Americans come there speaking their language. Like, oh, you sweet baby.
If it was a Japanese person with terrible Japanese, they'd be like, "You donkey."
no, I was thinking like when they come to America and they have bad English. A lot of people are like, "You suck." It's just like it's complete opposite.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing about Japanese culture is like how collectivist they are. Like America, it's all about empowering the individual.
Yeah.
Whereas in Japan, it's like polar opposite.
Yeah. I don't know if I like that though.
Yeah, I don't think I like that very much. I like it. It depends. It's interesting because I think it depends on what it's being applied to.
Yeah. I know the workplace situation is awful. There's like people dying.
Well, yeah, the culture in Japan, from my understanding, I'm not an expert or anything. But I mean,
you know the most here.
I've in this room of two people, I've done more research.
He's done the most Japanese research.
I'm the bigger weeb of us too.
Yeah. Well, no.
Nah, I definitely
You're
am.
definitely bigger weeb. That's 100%.
We both like anime though, so that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
But anyway,
Dragon Ball.
did you really just say
I
Dragon
did.
Ball? You
That was the
freaking
point.
loser.
That was the point. I was
I
trying
know.
to, for all you weebs out there, I'm sorry. That was a joke.
But yeah, the workplace culture in Japan, they have this phrase. I forget what it is in Japanese, but it's not important. Y'all speak English. It's like staying along and working. So like if you're in an office and you get finished with your work, you're expected to stay until everyone is done.
Yeah.
Even if you have nothing to do.
And then there's also, and if I remember correctly, because I remember reading about this, like hearing about it on the news and like multiple sources. It was something like, even if everybody's done, you still don't want to be the first one to leave.
Yeah, like they're expected to stay the full work day, and like 10 to 12-hour days are way more normal in Japan.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, people, and that's like a lot of Japanese people. One of the reasons like all the anime is like high school is because a lot of Japanese people, it's like fairly normal to view your high school days as like your peak. And not like in a sad way, like in Americans, like, oh, he peaked in high school. In Japan, it's like, oh, now I have to work, and now my life sucks.
This is when I first experienced love.
Right.
I mean, it's fair.
That's definitely a sad part of the culture. There's a lot of great parts of the culture.
Yeah.
I mean, that's with anything. There's good and bad to any country, but
I mean, just become an otaku, then you're happy your whole life.
well, if you're a YouTuber in Japan, you're like. But yeah, that's. But yeah, that's very.
What?
Anyway. Yeah, this is a very, very interesting part of Japanese culture. It's sad sometimes, but then it is nice on how supportive of everyone that the Japanese are, like how kind they are to one another because of that collectivist vibe. But then you also have the bad part, like the
Yeah, it's like
everyone's gonna work together.
I feel like if somebody fell over, most people would help. They like carry the burden kind of deal.
Right.
Not like literal fall over. I mean,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Whereas it's the opposite in America. You know, like
it's like
if I'm done with work, you like I'm out.
you're good. Good luck.
But then we also don't help each other as much.
Yeah, which I mean, to each according. What was the saying? It's like
To
each according to his will, to each according to what he gets. Something like that. You know what
That's
I mean? It's
the Karl Marx quote.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think I know what you're thinking of.
I'm saying that's kind of how it works here, though. Like you work and you get what you work. I know that's more of a communist ideal, but it applies here. It's in my head.
What is the quote?
I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
At least.
To each.
We have a computer right there.
I don't know. I'm supposed to search for this quote.
Did I tell you that? Okay. For those of you that are listening, while he's looking that up, I actually this is gonna sound weird. I had my my internet browser open, right, and I looked up Soviet March. It's a song from a video game I used to play, right? And when I looked it up, I got asked if I was a bot. Like genuinely, Google was like, "Are you a bot?"
What?
He was like, I think it was checking to see if I was a bot from Russia, because I looked up Soviet March, and it was like, "Are you human?"
Do you want to read that quote since you can kind of see that and talk in your mic a little bit better?
From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. That was the quote that I was trying to reference, which I guess when it's put that way applies a little less.
Yeah, we modified the quote in our head.
Yeah, but you get what I mean, though. It's like you get you get the effort you put out of it usually.
Yeah, but I think that quote's kind of talking about like, that everyone should do what they can, and then like, if what you can't get yourself will be made up for by the other people, kind of communist thing. Yeah. This podcast is against communism.
It is.
Let's clear this up now.
We don't like Maoism either, for the record.
Or Taoism.
That's a religion.
I
feel like we shouldn't be anti-Taoist. We might,
For all the Taoists listening.
You're wrong.
All the Shintoists in Japan.
Do you think
that's another
Shinto is pretty much gone at that point. They still have the shrines though, don't they?
No, that's a really interesting thing about Japanese culture. Is like, okay, so in America, especially here in the Bible Belt, everyone says they believe in God in the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
But not a lot of people go to church. But in Japan, almost everyone goes to shrines, but most people say they're atheist. It's like a tradition, but it's still blatantly talking about gods and stuff.
Yeah, which, and that kind of goes with collectivism, I assume, though, because if you all agree, like, hey, we don't believe in something, even if you do,
right?
Like, you might as well conform, even if your beliefs are different.
Right, and I think it's like Japan and a lot of Asian countries have such strong ties to tradition, which also might be due to like America's such a new country.
Yeah.
That like all these ancient countries are so tied to their traditions. And it's also weird how the Japanese, even like breaking it down to the Japanese language and how they talk, it's like the concept of God or the Shinto gods or the Christian God is like such a different concept than the Western one. Yeah. Like it's such more of an abstract thing, like almost like fate or like nature.
Okay, yeah. So more of a,
whereas
lack of a better word, transcendentalist.
Yeah, I would say that. Especially in the Shinto kind of dealings, like
that was the Scarlet Letter concept, wasn't it? Transcendentalism.
I have no idea.
You remember like Mr. Barkdale always talking about how Arthur Dimmesdale would go into the woods and all of a sudden he'd see the light or something beneficial would happen. I just rubbed the mic. Something beneficial would happen. You know what I'm talking. You did your paper on this.
I did my paper on Tokyo Ghoul.
With Arthur Dimmesdale.
I did my paper, it was called Tunnel Vision was the name of it. Nice. And it was comparing Kaneki and the world of Tokyo Ghoul to, the world of Tokyo Ghoul versus the world of the Scarlet Letter. You had Kaneki versus Dimmesdale, and you had Kaneki versus Chillingsworth. Yeah. Anyway. My best paper I've ever read.
I did terrible in that one. But basically like transcendentalism, nature makes things all better. We should go away from technology, the way things are. They aren't transcendentalists. That's not what I'm saying. But it seems like what you're describing has roots in that.
Yeah, like similar,
Like
similar mindset.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's very different than how we picture gods, even if we're thinking about other like Shinto gods. Like just the view on it's very abstract.
Yeah. I wonder.
It's interesting.
Okay, this could sound stupid. Like taxes, right? In Japan.
Taxes.
No, because I was going to compare this to like how United States, we don't tax churches because it's viewed as like a religious organization.
Right.
Those shrines, they get donations. Like it makes me wonder, how do they qualify that? Because they probably, obviously they have tax. They have to. It's a government.
Right.
It makes me wonder how they view that. Then is it like a park?
I have no idea.
It's an interesting thought, though. You know what I mean?
It is interesting.
Because how do they classify it? Because if they classify it as something, if like a shrine and it's not taxed, there's obviously religion tie there.
Right. I have no idea. That's one to look up. I'm not going to look that one up.
Yeah, I don't want to do it either.
But another interesting thing, there is a small village in Japan where they say that Jesus died. They say that the one who was on the cross in Golgotha was Jesus' brother, and that Jesus went to Japan.
James?
No. It was a different guy.
Oh, different brother.
Different brother.
My bad.
That Jesus, they say that Jesus went to Japan and lived in the small city to be like 100 and something and died there.
Jesus Sama, right.
Yeah.
Why?
Iesi Kiristo is
What?
Jesus
Say
Christ
that
in
in?
Japanese. Iesi Kiristo, I think.
Iesi Cristo.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
That's very weird.
But I think that's Jesus Christ in Japan. But anyway.
That's kind of interesting, though.
It's very weird. It's literally you go there and there's a sign that says Tomb of Jesus.
Existo Cristo tomb. You see what I mean, though? It's just
it's very odd.
That's like if you went.
I saw that on an Abroad in Japan video on YouTube.
Did I tell you about that time I went on? We were driving to, I think it's Gunnersville. You know where that is? North.
Sure.
North, just north.
Just north. It's north.
Okay, north of us. Northeast, if I remember correctly. Basically, we were driving there, and the GPS decided to take us on a back road instead of Highway 69. Right? So we get on this back road, and we see two churches, right? The Jesus Christ Church of Friends #1.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like...
Jesus Christ Church of Friends #1.
#1. We were like... Is there more than one?
You drive a little more, and it's Jesus Christ Church of Friends #2.
There was a #2. I mean, dead serious.
Who would want to go to the second one?
Yeah, I mean, because Jesus can only be at one of them. Right?
It's interesting. I'm sure if we have any other listeners that aren't in Alabama or in the Bible Belt, I'm sure it's very odd, but for them. But like here, you could every block there's a church. Like you drive
pretty
like,
close.
Yeah, like you drive like for a minute and there's a church in any direction.
Yeah, it's like you're a Baptist. Which block are you on?
Baptist, Methodist. We don't have a lot of Catholic churches. We have 2.
I think we have 2.
Yeah.
I think of 1.
Holy Spirit and St. Francis.
Where's St. Francis?
On the university.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's the one that Nick Saban goes to.
Yeah, really?
I think so.
I mean, it makes sense. It's at the university.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a synagogue actually.
Do we?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's on campus.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think we have a mosque, potentially.
Surely.
On campus.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I would think we have a mosque somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I think we have one of pretty much everything on campus.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because I learned the synagogue was there when I was looking up.
Yeah.
Like maybe ways I can get taught a little bit better Hebrew because you
Right.
just use a website. It's not that helpful.
Right.
Yeah, and they were like, yeah, it's probably disrespectful to go to a synagogue and just ask them if you're not going to learn. So I was like, that's a good point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You guys know Hebrew?
Yeah. If you just walk in there and ask that and you're like, not
Jew?
I wasn't going to say Jew, but that works too. I was going to say... like,
not Jewish?
I know. No, it's not... It didn't make me laugh because you said Jew. It's just because I couldn't think of a word. And I was going to say, like, fellowship. Like someone at the fellowship,
Right.
of the ring.
You are not Jewish.
Gentile, if you will.
Right, you're a Gentile.
You're a Gentile. But, you know.
I've thought about Hebrew as like, if I get through, I don't know if Japanese will turn into something that I get to conversational and I'm like, all right, I'm happy. Now I'm going to move on. Or if it's going to turn into, I'm just studying this the rest of my life. But if I ever want to go to a second or third language, I've thought about Hebrew for like a third or fourth.
Interesting. Not as useful as you think it would be.
Well, I definitely don't think it'd be useful.
Yeah. And there's a lot of weird things.
I feel like the end goal would just be like reading the Old Testament in Hebrew.
And even then, that's not it's attainable.
Right.
But I wouldn't recommend it.
It'd take a long time to be able to read.
And
especially read a text like that.
Yeah, and you'd have to be sure to actually learn biblical Hebrew.
Because there's modern Hebrew and classical.
Which is not confusing at all, by the way.
Oh, I'm sure it's confusing.
You know, it's not like airplane and like some ancient biblical word are the same thing or something,
In Japanese, the word for he and she are the same words for boyfriend and girlfriend.
Interesting. I know one of the things that confused me about Russian is he and she, because they're spelled one letter different, right? So if I was spelling it in English, right, he would be spelled with the letters O and H, so on, right? Mm-hmm. And then she is, for relative English letters, O-H-A, and it's Anna. On Anna. What?
Exactly.
It's of course, why not? It's never made sense to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Language is confusing.
I would encourage anyone who didn't grow up bilingual to try to learn another language, though.
They've actually, isn't there studies that say, like, knowing more than one language actually makes you more intelligent?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, but outside of America, it's like 70% of people are bilingual or something.
I remember seeing a map that said America was like -1.
Yeah, I mean, I'm jealous of people that grow up bilingual. It's like, why couldn't my parents just speak another language?
Yeah. Oh, I remember what it was. The map I saw.
Yep.
It was describing. It said number of languages known by country, and it was like a number, decimal, and then like as an average. Like England was like people on average know 1.73 languages.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like 1, 2, like solid numbers. America was 0.87. How? What?
So we have a decent population with less than a language.
I assume by it means is like fluent, like very fluent.
Right.
So it must mean like these people can't read past like 3rd grade, I assume. Surely that's what that means, because how did they take said test in the first place to prove this?
You get the U.S. Census.
Come on, who does the census? Let's be real here.
No, the government's gonna find us now.
Oh, okay.
It's trying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Soon. But
yeah, I think anyone who only speaks one language should try to learn another one.
You're definitely missing out.
For sure.
Yeah. And something I've heard from many people who speak other languages, have gone and like lived in other countries, like cultures may be different, but everything's the same. Like you go to the country, Spanish mom still yelling at Spanish dad to get off the couch. It's like somebody's still doing blah blah blah. They're still the lazy kids. You know what I mean?
I have several Hispanic kids that come to the gym at Northridge, and they'll like be talking behind my back in Spanish. I'll be like, "Stop! That's cheating."
It's like, I know what you're saying.
I don't know what you're saying. Like Las Papas Fritas.
What is with you and saying the French fries? He's been saying this for like a week.
I can say French fries, and I can say "Donde está el baño?" Where's the bathroom?
Hamburguesa.
La hamburguesa.
Las hamburguesas. We very much passed our Spanish 1 class.
Spanish 1 obviously taught us many things.
It kind of helps at Subway when you get that guy that comes in here and speaks very little English, and he's like, lettuce, and you're like, lettuce.
And you go, terrible.
Just grab a sandwich, be like, terrible.
Now you're French
No,
or Italian?
Yeah.
Pizza.
Oh, pizza, la pasta. Mamma mia. Mario.
Okay. Wow.
There is a Latino man. I almost said Latina. Latino man who comes in there. His name is Mario, and he has the mustache.
I remember.
He is a painter.
Have you ever played Assassin's Creed?
No.
Oh, there's a scene in Assassin's Creed 2 where Ezio's uncle is Mario, and he goes, "It's a me, Mario."
It's a me.
He like blatantly says it. It's amazing.
Dude.
I used to play a bunch of Assassin's Creed.
Oh yeah, I used to talk about it.
Do you want to start a new ending segment where we just, like say what we've been playing or watching recently, like anime, video games, what we've been doing recently?
Why would we do that as a segment when we could just talk about it?
Well, like just like as an end thing, like what have we been doing recently? You know?
I mean, what have you been doing recently? Breathing. You just sniff it.
I mean, you can just say yes or no.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Sure. What have you been doing recently, Wesley?
Well, games wise, been playing a lot of Counter-Strike, Valor, and Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, pretty much the same because he plays those with me.
I'm also slowly finishing Nair.
Yeah.
The original Nair.
I'm still playing Horizon Zero Dawn on PlayStation. That's PlayStation 4, not the original PlayStation. In case you were wondering.
All right.
Booted up the original PlayStation. PlayStation Slim. Let's be real.
Like, got up the gray original PlayStation.
Yeah.
Used to play that at my mama's house. It was good times.
Yeah.
PS2 was my most of my childhood. War of the Monsters.
War of the Monsters is good. I'm telling you, dude, I gotta bring it over.
I don't know where my copy went.
I have mine.
Yeah,
That's
we
what
need
I'm
to
saying.
play it. Just like have a tournament.
Yeah, an impromptu recording session.
Oh yeah. I'm still waiting for War of the Monsters 2.
Yeah, I mean it's been like 15 years. Where are you at, Konami?
Was it Konami that made that game?
I don't know. I just said Konami.
Oh. I feel like a modern War of the Monsters would be so good.
I feel
or
like it looked
terrible.
too realistic.
Or it might be just terrible.
Yeah.
It's probably not as good as we remember it.
Oh, it's not. I've played it since then. It was terrible.
It's been a while since I replayed it a little bit.
I think I played it when I was 17.
17?
Yeah, so 2 years ago. Or
Year
16.
and a half. Oh.
16, I think. That's
Yes.
why I knew it was 2 years ago. Just age is still kind of confusing.
Right.
Right. Because I ordered a PlayStation Slim. The second, PlayStation 2 Slim. And then I got it, right?
Right.
And I was like, bro, my cousin gave me War of the Monsters. I'm going to play this.
I remember when I got my first M-rated game, the Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance.
We literally talked about this last time.
Did we talk about it on the podcast?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Then never mind.
Yeah, you were like, because
I
I
thought we
said
just
to you, I
talked
was like,
about
your
that.
parents let you do that?
Yeah.
And you were like, I got it from my cousin.
No, it wasn't my cousin.
I have a friend.
It was my friend Justin.
You said his name.
He probably won't say
Yeah, I'm
this.
kidding.
Okay, but we used to play. He's a lot older than me, and we would play like Modern Warfare 2. And I remember it's just this one distinct memory. We were playing, and in Modern Warfare 2, the meta, there were the Model 1887 shotguns, the lever action shotguns, and when you were dual wielding akimbo style them, they would like their shooting animation would be the Terminator, like and like flip them around.
So you're like Reaper.
No, you're like Terminator
No,
from Terminator 2.
yeah, but
Terminator 2.
okay. Sorry, you never played Overwatch.
But yeah, so he's like, and everybody thought it was super cool. And we were in a call, and we were watching the final kill cam, and the guy had those, and he goes, "Oh, he got the models," and I was like, "You mean model 1887?" And then he just goes silent.
Those models, 1887. This is like how
I don't know why I remember that so distinctly.
Probably because you remember when I called it the UMP, the UMP.
I don't like it when people call it that.
It's an ump. It's
a
how
bunch
it's
of
spelled.
other people call it that.
It's because it's right. And you're like, it's the UMP.
That's how I talk.
Yes. Well, I can't. You want me to like actually learn how to do a Wesley voice or just confuse
Give me your
people?
best Wesley voice.
Give me your best Wesley voice.
We'll have to re-listen to that.
I have to like. My voice is a little deeper than yours, just a little bit. So like say something again. See if
Something again.
Something again.
I think you went a little too nasally on me again.
Remember how last time when we were listening to this afterwards, you're like, man, that sounds so nasally.
I do. Well,
Because that's what you sound like.
it doesn't sound nasally to me right now, though. Anyway, so the anime I've been watching recently.
Go on.
I've been watching. No, I finished Demon Slayer.
Oh, my bad.
That came out in like 2018.
Ooh.
But I've been watching the seasonal anime I've been watching. The God of High School, which is a Korean manhwa.
Oh, so it's not a manga, it's a manhwa.
Well, it's adapted from a manhwa, but the anime is being made in Japan.
Ah, gotcha. Of course.
Manhwa is like just now starting to get anime adaptations. It's like a whole big thing. Everybody's super excited.
Okay.
And then I'm watching obviously Re:Zero season 2 because Re:Zero is amazing.
Yeah, you really like Re:Zero, huh?
Re:Zero is awesome. What do you have to say about Re:Zero?
Nothing. Just conversation we talked about before.
What's wrong with Re:Zero?
Nothing. You're good, buddy. Hey, my anime isn't exactly better that I've watched.
You haven't even watched Re:Zero yet, and I'm still upset. And I'm watching season 3 of Snafu.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not watching any right now because I'm in.
Oh yeah, I'm also watching. I'm finishing up the one of the side stories of Don Machi, and I'm watching Violet Evergarden with no subtitles or with no English subtitles. I can't understand it. Well, I can. It's for Japanese practice.
What do you not understand about it? It's like, I am robot. My hands made of metal. I type. That's like Violet Evergarden. That's like the entire show. I watched one episode.
I was about to say, I was like, Violet Evergarden's amazing.
I still only watched one episode after Stevie told us to.
Right. Violet Evergarden's beautiful. Like, out of all there's not a lot of animes where I like sit back and I'm like, this is beautiful. But like the Violet Evergarden's one of those.
Yeah.
But I'm watching it either with no English subtitles or with Japanese subtitles is one of the things I'm doing for practice. Yeah. Anyway, what stuff you've been watching?
Well, one of the shows, like I said right now, I was trying to say right now rather before, Violet Evergarden.
I cut you off.
Yeah.
I did.
Yes, you did. I'm not spiteful. No.
Not at all. No.
Anyway, before, I'm in between right now, and I watched in the past was a show called Seven Seeds, which is a show about like post-apocalypse in the whole world. Like, basically, Cold War never stopped, and everybody nuked each other, but every country knew it was going to happen. So, Japan being Japan, their method of making sure everybody lived right was gathering these teams of different kinds of people with a bunch of different skills, whatever. Right. One of them, because it's Japan, was like angsty teenagers because they were like, "This'll work." They were literally the reject team. Like, they're like, "We just did it because we could." And then there's 4 other ones which are like military professionals. One of them's like just older people who've like survived in the woods for years. They've like cryogenically frozen these people, and they all wake up at different times.
Oh,
yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, so one of them was like a baseball player. Because, he could throw, so he can, the idea was he could throw something and then, like, possibly kill an animal.
Right.
So, like, spear or something along that side. Basically, that was his thing. His team...
He throws things.
Yeah, his whole thing is he throws things. That's literally it. Well, his team comes out of the cryopods, and I don't remember exactly what happens. I don't remember if all of them died, but him and 2 other ones originally, or if they came out of the pods and they were just dead. Right? So there's him and 2 other people. One of them is a girl that I think likes him, and the other one's like his best friend. Right? They die, like, very quickly. And he is left alone, and he goes, like, insane.
Oh.
Like, not insane, but, like, guy in the woods crazy.
Wilson.
Yeah, like Wilson.
Castaway.
Yeah, Castaway crazy. Like, he meets people later on, and he's pretty sociable. He's cool.
Right,
he's like, people. It's been, like...
Humans!
It's been, like, 30 years. Point being, his 2 friends die, right?
Is that a spoiler?
Not really. It happens like 20 minutes into that episode.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they die.
Okay.
And there's like dogs that he finds, a female dog and a male dog. So the friend and the girl, and he like gives them the same name.
Oh.
Yeah. And then this is just a weird part of the show. I don't want to actually spoil what happens. He like breeds the dogs. It's not shown, but it's like heavily implied.
That's what he did.
Yeah, because there's like it goes into the future when he ends up meeting up with the real group of people, and there's like 200 dogs, and they're all named. He has a lot of dogs.
He knows all their names.
He uses them to hunt.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like whoa. It's like, he went full crazy guy, and like he'll be like I think at one point a tiger or something, like he was away from the dogs. A tiger was chasing him, and he picks up a rock and like chucks it at its skull and knocks it out because he threw it that hard.
I mean, he's a baseball player, dude.
He was like 40 miles per hour. No, it
was probably 60.
And you know what I mean? It's just, you get my point. Like this guy is he's overpowered. It's I watched a bit of that. What was the other one? I finished Angel Beats. That was a good show. I've
started that show like 3 times, and I know people love it. I need to watch it all.
It's not that I love it. It's just interesting.
Well, I know a lot of people like it.
The ending is very sad.
I need to finish it.
The ending is very sad.
Like
that's like I don't cry.
Like you almost sweat from your eyes. So.
Yeah, like if I had like I liked the show, but if I had been into it, I probably would have cried.
I wonder what's the closest an anime has made me like come to crying. I'm trying to think on the fly.
When Goku died.
And then when he died again.
He died a third time.
I wonder if he's gonna come back this time.
Krillin, use Spirit Bomb, please. Krillin, I leave you the Spirit Bomb.
He just jumps over it.
But there's another show that I've been telling Wesley about that I wanted him to watch, because I think you said you watched it actually. It's a show about high school girls driving tanks.
Oh.
It's called Girls und Panzer, right? I said the Girls und Panzer, right?
I haven't watched it, but I know a lot of people like it.
You need to watch it. It's funny, it's wholesome, and it's weird. Like, literally,
girls driving tanks.
Like, there is an ad, quote, like the main character, I can never say their names. It's all Japanese. It confuses me. I know what they look like.
Right.
I'm going to say her name's like Shizuki or something like that.
Good guess.
Yeah, she goes in. There is a girl named Sayori, so, stereotypical. Right? Well, Shizuki goes to the school. There's, like, no lead up. She goes there, and she's like, I just wanted to get away, right? I need to get away from my family's traditions. She gets there, and they're like, we're starting a new club. It's called Tankery. It's like, Shizuki, amazing. You have to join. You're the only one with experience. And it's like, what? She has experience?
Experience tanking?
She came from a long line of tank drivers. And that's what she's trying to escape from.
That's pretty funny.
And the class president was like the one leading the club.
Right.
She's like, that she puts up an ad, and it's like, Tankery. Display your femininity by driving this huge tank.
It's like K-On, but with tanks.
It's like, man, if you drive this tank, the boys will love you. They will think you're great. You will get better grades.
That's pretty funny.
And you see the main character's just like terrified. She's like, I came to this school because it didn't have Tankery.
It's like archery, but tanks.
It's so stupid. Then at the end, right? It zooms out at the end of the episode. It's like, oh yeah, they've been on a boat the whole time.
Boat?
They're on an aircraft carrier covered in grass and tanks.
It's like the Earth on Turtle's back.
Literally. It was like show you this huge sprawling city, and it's like it zoomed out, and then at the end of the episode it takes that zoom out and just goes like 3 steps further, and it's like on an aircraft carrier in the ocean. I was just like, what just happened?
Turtles all the way down.
Aircraft carriers all the way down, am I right? Wow. We've been talking for a long time.
I'm about ready to wrap this up.
Me too.
All right, cool.
So,
this is a long episode.
How did we end it last time?
I think we're getting better at podcasting.
Yeah, we definitely get better at talking for a long period of time.
Better at podcasting.
Yeah.
Last episode was like a little over an hour.
It's like hour 6, I think.
Yeah.
This is definitely an hour longer.
Well, I don't really know. Do you have an idea for what we'll talk about next time?
Whatever we feel like.
I mean, yeah, but like.
Yeah, I mean.
We gave kind of a We said we were going to talk about nerd stuff. We did that this podcast.
I mean, we kind of went on a
I mean, we
language
talked
and moved
about everything this podcast, but
We're going to make the title like movies, language, anime.
Anime languages and angry evangelists.
There you go. Oh, I forgot we talked about. See, it's been 2
that
hours.
was like the top. I think that was the highlight of the podcast.
I legitimately forgot that we talked.
We talked
about
about a lot of stuff. This podcast.
We talked for
We're
2
getting
hours
good at
straight.
this.
The only times we stopped talking is
Five-star.
when
My dad came.
yeah,
over.
his dad came in the room several times.
I don't know if I'll cut all those out.
Well, I mean, we didn't
properly.
really say anything.
Yeah.
during
But whenever we just looked away in silence, that was just.
that.
I don't know if you heard him. Probably not.
Definitely. I feel like they did.
They might have.
He's pretty loud.
He is pretty loud.
He's wearing a
May-
shirt that's.
We might have if he watches. We might eventually have him on the podcast briefly
We're like, hey.
if he keeps asking.
Hey, Wesley.
He's pretty funny.
Yeah, but then he might figure out the name of it.
I know. He'll probably figure. He'll pressure me into telling him eventually.
They'll be like, hey, I'll give you this this Mountain Dew if you tell me the name of your podcast.
That would definitely work.
All right. Yeah,
All right.
we're definitely good for now.
Leave the message after the beep.
No, that's not. Let me do it. After the tone, please leave a message after the beep. Beep.